Corel Center, just outside Canada's capital city of Ottawa, Ontario. Welcome to a World Cup of Hockey showdown between Team Russia and Team USA. Hi, everybody. Bob Miller along with Joe Micheletti. Nice to have you with us tonight. It's all come down to this showdown. The winner tonight will take on Team Canada in the finals of the World Cup of Hockey. This is the second time this week that Russia and the United States have met. Last Monday night in New York City, Team USA defeated Russia 5-2, and they did it by playing what they call in-your-face hockey. And we expect to see the same kind of hockey tonight.
Absolutely, we're going to see it. Team USA is going to come out. They're going to play very physical, and they're going to try and finish every check. But that's only a part of their game plan. They also want to establish a forecheck early and force the Russian defensemen to give up the puck. And Team USA also has excellent speed. They want to use that to go wide on the Russian defensemen.
As we take a look at these team rosters and the Bud Ice players to watch in this game, you'll see that both teams have the high-scoring forwards, hard-hitting defensemen, and outstanding goaltenders.
And I think there's two key players to keep an eye on in this game for these two teams. Chris Chelios, the outstanding defenseman for Team USA, and the goaltender for Russia, Andrei Trepalov. As far as Chelios is concerned, he's just a part of what I think is the best defensive group in this entire tournament. He can do everything for this team, and what they're going to try and do tonight, the defense is going to try and stay in the neutral zone and force Russia to give up the puck. They've got a lot of high-scoring forwards, that Russian team. As far as Andrei Trepalov is concerned, he's got to be the guy to stop the puck tonight for Russia. He's coming off the shutout against Finland, but to me, he didn't look as sharp. He's the type of goaltender that can be extremely hot or very, very cold. He's the key guy for them.
You know, in a short tournament like this, when you bring players in from all different teams, you wonder, how will they fit together? And everyone has been impressed with the togetherness of Team USA.
It's really been an amazing story. Very unique for a team that's only been together for a month to act and play the way this team is playing. And it's a credit to Ron Wilson and his coaching staff for getting that through to the players. It's interesting that they have so much trust for one another. And to play well and to win, you have to have trust, and they have that.
Team USA is undefeated so far in the tournament. The winner moves on to the finals. We'll be back in Ottawa with more right after this.
Budweiser.
I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
If I give you a clean sheet, what will you write? Will it be poetry or just plain English? If you have something to say it now.
Being brought to you by Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light. Drink Bud Ice, but beware the Penguins. By Bauer, the original hockey company. Bauer, leave an impression. By the new Dodge, we're thinking ahead. And by the intense, slammin', wicked, headbangin' taste of dew. We're back live at the Corel Center. Tonight, it's Team USA against Team Russia. Joining us again tonight, Brian Hayward. He's a former NHL goaltender, and I'll bet you we can guess his keys to victory tonight. Brian?
Pretty good guess by you, Bob. You know that the goaltenders are both going to play a huge role in tonight's game. It's interesting for me to point out that in terms of style, these guys are at opposite ends of the spectrum. You've got Mike Richter for Team USA, plays a classic stand-up style. He would prefer to challenge the shooters, but I tell you what, the Russians are a team that like to pass it around that goal crease, and if Richter gets too aggressive, he'll get burned. He'll try and find a happy medium tonight. At the other end, Andrei Trepalov, very difficult to pinpoint his style. Tremendous reflexes, a great acrobat in the net, but as Joe pointed out, he can be inconsistent at times. If he has a flaw, it is that he goes down too early whenever that puck gets in the crease area. Look for the Americans to try and shoot high as often as possible. I'll tell you this, whichever goaltender's style fits into the flow of this hockey game better, well, quite likely he'll end up being the victor. Bob.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. Both teams are out on the ice. We're just moments away from the opening face-off in this game. Team USA and Russia. Back in a moment. Center just outside Ottawa, Ontario. A full house of over 18,000 here tonight for this match between the USA and Russia. And here is the Russian national anthem. Russian national anthem, and now Ontario Provincial Police Constable Lyndon Slewage will sing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Constable Lyndon Slewage's rendition of the American Anthem. Et maintenant, le constable Slewage vous interprète l'hymne national des États-Unis.
The starting goaltenders for this game tonight in goal for Team USA will be Mike Richter, 2 wins in this tournament, a 2.5 goals against average, and in goal for the Russian team will be Andrei Trefilov. The officials for tonight's game, our referee will be Terry Gregson, the linesman Kevin Collins, and Scott Driscoll. There's Terry Gregson. Now, Ron Wilson was saying today, Bob, that he's not going to match lines. Now, he has the home team, which means he gets the last change. Well, the Russians are starting their 2 most dangerous forwards, Sergei Fedorov and Alexander Mogilny. And who does Ron Wilson start? Joel Otto, who is a big, tough defensive type forward. He's on one wing. Adam Deadmarsh, another good defensive player on the other side, with Pat LaFontaine, all kinds of speed in the middle.
Well, in the game last Monday night at Madison Square Garden, Adam Deadmarsh scored for the USA 26 seconds after the opening faceoff, and that got the USA off and running to a 5-2 victory. Pat LaFontaine will move in here to take the opening faceoff against Sergei Fedorov. In that game last Monday in New York, the Russian team was said to look disinterested. Their big guns were no-shows in that game. Look for them to pick up their game tonight. Puck driven back behind the net, poked away by Trepalov. He had the shutout in the last game against Finland. Puck comes out on the right point. Darian Hatcher holds it in there. Gets it to Joel Otto, but it rolls away and played now by Malakoff. Malakoff up to center ice. His pass knocked down there. A lot of room. Right side for Joel Otto. 2-on-1. Otto pass across in front. Score! Pat LaFontaine. This time, 26 seconds again. The U.S. leads 1-0.
And the goal was nearly identical, a 2-on-1. This time LaFontaine. Instead, there's a turnover, and the U.S. comes back the other way. 2-on-1. Here it is. Joel Otto, the perfect pass, and the quick shot by Pat LaFontaine. Trepalov did not have a chance. Again, the turnover, it was Deadmarsh that made the play at the U.S. blue line. Joel Otto picked it up, went the other way. The perfect feed to LaFontaine, who was on his off wing, so he had a much better angle to shoot. Trepalov tried to get there, and LaFontaine put it home, a quick U.S. lead.
Talk about a coincidence, as we said, 26 seconds, 2 games in a row after the opening faceoff. The United States takes a 1-0 lead over Russia. LaFontaine, he gets the goal. Joel Otto with the assist. And Team USA ahead 1-0. Here's Chelios with it now. Moves it ahead to the blue line. Right wing pass. Plays back up the middle. Shot by Brett Hull is high and wide to the right. He gets the pass from Scott Young. Now Young in the right wing corner. Young with it. He gets stopped there. His pass knocked down. Flipped into the corner. Centered up the middle. And the Russians have trouble clearing it out again. Now they get it out to across the blue line, and then Fetisov took over.
Bob, it'll be interesting now to see how Trepalov reacts to letting in an early goal. Remember, we talked about him. He can be the type of goaltender that can be very hot, but if bad things happen early, things could get worse.
He was not the goaltender when that happened in Madison Square Garden Monday. It was Nikolai Khabibulin, and they pulled him after 2 periods, so he did not react well to giving up an early goal.
Yeah, and in that third period that Trepalov played against Team USA, he shut him out.
Puck taken by Team USA again. They got Mike Modano right up the middle, but can't get it to him, and it's taken away. And Alexei Kovalev up the right side. He is checked there. Forechecking by Team USA. They hold it in. Modano with a shot save. Rebound in front, and Bill Guerin just can't jam it in. The rebound was bouncing right out in front of Trepalov, and Billy Guerin tried to tip it in. But the forechecking of Team USA paid off there. It was a Russian giveaway at the blue line.
And the defensemen as well are staying in the zone, and they're forcing the play. Thus far, Russia has not had the type of time that they had against Team Finland, and now Team USA will go on the power play as the Russians are going to take a penalty for interference. It was clear interference.
So the first penalty of the game, interference against Russia. Let's take a look at it again. There's a chance for Guerin right in front.
And Guerin just couldn't quite get everything on it. Trepalov was able to get over with his goal stick and stop the puck, and it was just after that that Darius Kasparaitis, who is the toughest and most determined of these Russian defensemen, he came over, took the U.S. player right out of the play who did not have the puck, and immediately Terry Gregson made the call. It was the right call.
Team USA in the tournament on the power play, 3 out of 14. That's 21.4%, tied for 4th among teams in the tournament. Penalty killing for Russia, they're killing at 83.3%. That ranks 4th in the tournament. And Team USA with a 1-0 lead, now with a man advantage, but it's cleared by Nemchinov all the way back into the Team USA zone. Kevin Hatcher back at 1 point, along with Brian Leach. Here's Hatcher with Hull across the line. Hull up front with Doug Waite and Pat LaFontaine. Waite down in the corner, gives it to Brett Hull. Hull sweeps it out to Kevin Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher with it down the blue line, gives it back on the left side. It comes down in deep to LaFontaine. LaFontaine back to Brett Hull, to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher shoots, and it's knocked down in front by Trepalov and picked up by Nemchinov. He gives it away to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher throws it in deep to Hull. Brett Hull with it there. Tried to give it to Doug Waite, batted away, and Hatcher can't hold it in. It hops out to center ice with 1:09 left to go in the first period. 1-0 Team USA. Here's Brian Leach across the line. Had it poked away, but Doug Waite rides it back behind the net. Trepalov cuts it off there, then has trouble passing it. He deflected one off of his own teammate, and Team USA holds it in again. Leach to the right point. He gets it over now at the top of the slot. It comes to the right side, and now the reach of Waite. Chris Chelios is on now. Nice play by Chelios. Holds it in. He shoots. Saved or knocked down in front by Zubov. Picked up now by Brett Hull. Hull to Chelios. To Hull. He shoots wide to the right side. 37 seconds left to go in the power play. play. 1-0 Team USA, and again, Russia can't clear. Suter is out of the right point now on the power play. Finally, they clear to center ice.
The U.S. team continues to be very aggressive, even on this power play. Chelios, what a play he made. His anticipation. There's a reason why Chelios has been named the top defenseman in the National Hockey League on 2 separate occasions with 2 different teams. And these are the types of plays he makes. He anticipates perfectly, just slides in. Russia a little careless trying to clear the puck, and there's Chelios just moving into the opening. Larionov, the Russian player, number 8, was moving the other way, and there was Chelios right there, but a good defensive play by Malakhov coming back and going down to block the shot by Chelios.
23 seconds left to go on the power play for Team USA. They have a 1-0 lead on a goal 26 seconds into the game by Pat LaFontaine.
Well, Bob, you mentioned the other night when Team USA played Team Russia. Here's tonight's goal. Right there, the 2-on-1 break. That's Pat LaFontaine finishing it off after the perfect pass from Joel Otto. This happened last Monday, the first 26 seconds of the game. It's Brian Leetch leading up the ice, and LaFontaine, the perfect pass to Deadmarsh. It looked identical, didn't it? That was the quick lead, and the U.S. has done the same tonight.
Well, if it works once, use it again. That's my coaching philosophy.
Well, you give the players with that type of talent that much time, and good things are going to happen.
Team USA still on the power play for about another 10 seconds, but it's taken away and cleared by Fetisov out to center, and Gary Suter will chase it down. And back at full strength in 3 seconds will be Team Russia. Here's Gary Suter up to center ice. Suter across the line. He is knocked down by Fetisov, and both of them went down to the ice. Suter is back up again, though, and the puck comes back down into the Team USA zone.
Well, that's a dangerous play, but I believe Gary Suter saw him coming just at the last minute, so he was able to miss most of that check.
And we get an offside here with 15:38 to go in the first period.
Weeknights on the Discovery Channel. Where's the wildest place you could go? What's the cutest you've ever seen? Weeknights. Gather with a gang and see how wild it gets. A different side of a dark continent. Out of Africa on Wild Discovery. Weeknights at 8 Eastern and Pacific on the Discovery Channel. And this fall, the world becomes a wilder place. As Wild Discovery goes 7 nights a week. It would be unnatural to watch anything else.
Number 2 in the red is Fetisov. Watch how low he gets. Gary Suter in the white is carrying the puck. Here comes Fetisov going down, and Suter with his head up is able to miss most of that check by Fetisov.
Now Team USA within their own zone. Pass up on the right side. Cleared out to center ice by Tony Amonte. And back in the Russian zone. Russia takes over. Left wing side, Kovalov stopped there as his pass taken away by Kevin Hatcher. Amonte gets it on the left side to Scott Young. Young flips it across the line. He's up front along with Ryan Smolinski. And back to get it is Kasparaitis. Kasparaitis pass did not connect. There's a shot by Amonte, knocked away by Trevelov. Team Russia has been atrocious so far, handling the puck in their own zone.
Well, they haven't had much time. The U.S. team doing exactly what their game plan was, get after Russia and not let them handle the puck. They haven't been able to carry the puck over the blue line yet.
Alexei Yashin tried to come to the top of the slot. He was checked there. He's a fan favorite here. He plays for the Ottawa Senators. Puck comes down in deep, taken away there and driven around the boards by Matthew Schneider all the way down into the Team Russia zone. And we get an icing call against Team USA. Team USA coach Ron Wilson was asked before the game tonight who he expects to step forward and have a big game for Team USA.
Well, I expect everybody to step forward, but I'm looking for Brett Hull to have a big game. I'm looking for Keith Tkachuk to have a big game, and obviously on defense, I'm hoping that Chris Chelios and Brian Leetch are on top of their games. I think we have the leadership in order to be successful tonight if these fellas step forward.
Well, Brett Hull has been something in this tournament. Nothing but high praise from Ron Wilson and the coaches. As he says, Brett Hull has done everything we have asked him to do.
Now Russia trying to hold it in as Malakov's pass comes around to the right side. A battle along the boards as Igor Ulanov is in there. He's a late addition just today to the Russian team. And a collision right at the top of the slot there as Darian Hatcher ran into Sergei Berezin. Berezin has never played in the NHL. He'll be joining the Toronto Maple Leafs camp. He got hit there by Darian Hatcher. 13:58 to go in the first period. 1-0 in favor of Team USA on a goal by Pat LaFontaine, assisted by Joel Otto, 26 seconds into the game. Now it rolls in toward Richter, and he'll move it up on the right side to Scott Young. Young for Team USA's pass taken away. Mogilny tried to give it a Fedorov. Now the left side, Fetisov. Fetisov kept by Gary Suter, and the puck is chipped back out to center ice. Chipped out by Brett Hull, who's been playing very well at both ends of the ice and getting high praise for it.
Well, he's the second leading scorer in the tournament with 6 points. And as I was mentioning earlier, Ron Wilson just saying great things about him, both offensively and defensively.
Pass to Nemchinov, and a save made by Richter. Nemchinov again knocked away by Richter. Nemchinov came down the left side on the first try and got a perfect pass from Mogilny, but Richter got across in front quickly and made the save.
Well, Russia has had a couple of chances in the last minute and a half, and what a save by Mike Richter. He said before this game he was going to continue to be aggressive, but he was going to be aware of the cross-ice passes. Here's one right there, and look at his reaction. Tremendous save, just stretching his right leg all the way across. Here he is again, out, but knowing that there's someone coming the other way. Excellent reaction. He gets over there quickly and saves a goal against. Boy, tremendous save by Mike Richter.
Face-off outside the blue line, and Igor Larionov on the draw against Modano. Keith Tkachuk is on this line, and Billy Guerin. Tkachuk on the left side, Bill Guerin on the right. Trepalov comes out, trying to drive to the blue line. He did, and banding on there with Matthew Schneider. Here's a 2-on-1 for Russia. Kovalenko moving in. He shoots wide to the left side. It was a 2-on-1. Kovalenko getting the shot. It went wide. Back comes Keith Tkachuk. He had Slava Kozlov with him, and Kozlov now back in his own zone to clear it to the blue line. So Russia with an outnumbered attack after the puck bounced past Matthew Schneider at the left point.
Well, that puck was bouncing. Schneider tried to get it to the net because Trepalov had left the net to shoot the puck, and it was Schneider that came up to play the puck, knowing he had an open net. That's why he took the chance, but it just bounced over his stick.
Asperitis has lost his helmet. He's going to go to the bench right now for Russia. Here's Slava Kozlov. He is stopped there. Puck is taken on the left side by Leclerc. Trying to give it to Amonte. Tipped away and chased into the right wing corner now by Brian Smolinski. He gets knocked down, and a penalty to Russia. A penalty to Russia coming up as Smolinski was interfered with. Interference is the call. Team USA back on the power play.
Doesn't have the puck. He's going after it, and that's Malakov, the Russian defenseman, that sticks his skate out and trips down Smolinski. He'll go off, and the U.S. will have their second power play of this game.
It's 1-0 in favor of Team USA. The crowd here didn't like that call against Russia. They've almost kind of a pro-Russia crowd here in Canada tonight. The winner tonight will meet Team Canada in the best 2 out of 3 finals in the World Cup. It starts Tuesday night. What a game last night. Canada winning in overtime against Sweden near the end of the second overtime. 13 seconds left. Actually, a few ticks under 13. Waite throws it in front, but LaFontaine sent it into the corner to Hull. Now to LaFontaine. LaFontaine back over to Doug Waite. Waite left side, trying to give it to LaFontaine. LaFontaine is stopped there, and it is cleared out the center with 1:28 left to go on this power play.
The Russians have done a good job killing penalties thus far in this game because they are putting pressure on the U.S. They're not letting them set up. The U.S. would like to have enough time to set up and get Brett Hull the puck, who is in the slot and has that tremendous shot, but Russia is not allowing them to do that.
Right there was Andrei Nikolishin, who took a run at Leach. Here is Brett Hull down the right side. Passes behind his back over to Leach. Leach tumbles down hard along the boards as he got knocked down by Zelepukin. Here on the left side, moving in, Zelepukin shooting it, deflected off a skate in front. Valery Zelepukin had his shot hit the skate of Kevin Hatcher. Puck comes back into the Team Russia zone. U.S. leading 1-0. We have 10:48 to go in the first period.
That's a tremendous block by Kevin Hatcher going down on the play. Russia comes back shorthanded, 3-on-2.
Tkachuk throws it down in deep. Now it comes around to Mike Modano. Modano had his pass knocked away by Fedorov. Now played to the blue line, but held in by Gary Suter with a drive and a save by Trepilov. And a puck loose behind him, but the whistle blew it. Quite a collision there in front of Trepilov.
Well, Trepilov is very good with his catching hand. He likes to try and catch everything, and it doesn't matter what side of the body it's on. He'll reach for it with the glove. And that time, as Tkachuk was in front, he noticed his defenseman taking the shot, so he went right to the front of the net, doing the right thing. Here's what happened on the play where Russia had the break. That was Brian Leetch coming in, and Zelepukin went down to try and knock the puck out. That tripped up Brian Leetch, who was beaten to the puck, and that allowed Russia to come down 3-on-2. And it was, again, Kevin Hatcher that came up with a marvelous block of the Russian opportunity.
28 seconds left to go on the Team USA power play. Face-off controlled by the Russians and cleared the length of the ice. Russia in the tournament, 2 wins and 2 defeats. Before we got into the playoff round, they were defeated by Team Canada and by Team USA. Now at center ice, Fetisov's pass goes to Larionov. 6 seconds left to go in the power play for Team USA. Russia will be able to kill it. 1 second left, and out of the penalty box is Vladimir Malakhov, and back at full strength, Team Russia. Up comes to Keith Tkachuk. Tkachuk, he'll play with the Phoenix Coyotes this year, goes in front and just tipped away from Leclerc, and we have a penalty coming up. John Leclerc cut in front, and a penalty coming up here with 9:51 to go in this first period, and Team USA is going to get the penalty.
Well, John Leclerc made an excellent move. John Leclerc, big and strong, and he goes to the net and just loses the puck. Watch him here with his speed. Number 10, he'll cut to the outside, but look at the strength here, cutting into the net. Now, he makes a good play, but he fans on the shot right here. He just misses it, and then as the play continues, that's where he pulls down the Russian player there. That's where the penalty is. So John Leclerc will go off, and Russia will have their first power play. Here it is again. Good move. You can see Trepilov, as Brian Hayward talked about, his style of play is somewhat unique. You can see Trepilov down on the ice right away before Leclerc was ready to shoot.
Now Team Russia on their first power play of the night. They're 4 out of 7 teams. Second best power play team in the tournament at 23.5%. USA penalty killing 87.5%. Third best in the tournament. USA leading 1-0. And Russia coming up to center ice with a man advantage for the first time tonight. Here's Tverdovsky across the line to Kozlov. Tverdovsky, he's hit hard along the boards on the left side by Darian Hatcher. Puck comes loose to Joel Otto. He's got plenty of time to skate it up the right side and then get a shot wide of the net. And the puck comes all the way back up to center ice to Slava Kozlov. Kozlov with it with 1:18 to go in the power play. Over to Igor Larionov. Long-time veteran of international play. Larionov drops it back now, and now it's moved quickly to Kozlov. Now to Larionov. Larionov, his pass, back on the right side to Tverdovsky. He's had his helmet knocked off. Tverdovsky with it. Tverdovsky shoots, saved by Richter. Rebound, hit the post, and Richter covers it up. Larionov was in deep on the right side, but looked like Mogilny was the one that got his stick on it to just tip it and hit the outside of the post.
Well, Tverdovsky just simply tried to get the puck on the net. Now, the goaltender, Mike Richter, is able to see this. A good job keeping the Russians away, but he can't control the rebound, and it actually bounces off the leg of Brian Leetch and then off the post. Leetch had done a good job coming back on Mogilny. Here it is from Mike Richter's viewpoint as he tries to clear it. The puck just deflects off the leg of his defenseman Brian Leetch and off the post.
Malakhov shooting up high over the net. Rebound bounces right back in front and is cleared quickly by Pat LaFontaine. 48 seconds left to go in the penalty to John Leclerc of Team USA. 1-0. The United States leading Russia. Up to center ice. Russia with it. Pass ahead now to Zelepukin. He's hit from behind by Doug Weight and knocked down. Puck held in by Kovalov. Kovalov to the blue line. Shot from there is wide to the left side on a hard shot from the blue line by Yushkevich. And now it comes up out of play. So let's go downstairs to Brian Hayward.
Guys, we get a pretty good sense of just how potent that Russian power play is. The Americans went into this game saying that they were going to take the body at every opportunity against Team Russia. They have done that. Credit referee Terry Graveson with letting the players decide this one. Hasn't been a lot of penalty calls so far. It's important for Team USA to keep this Russian power play off the ice. Guys.
And Team USA, what they're trying to do while killing this penalty is, again, they're trying to force things in the neutral zone and not allow the Russians to come up the ice without any pressure and gain the line. But the Russians are doing an excellent job of moving the puck around and gaining control of the puck in the U.S. zone.
Zubov holds it in over to Mogilny. Mogilny's pass gave it away and up to center ice. Here's Brett Hull on a breakaway. Hull moving in. He shoots. Saved by Trepilov. Hull looking for a short-handed goal, and Trepilov came out to meet him and make the save. Less than 10 seconds to go in the power play. Mogilny's pass taken away again by Brett Hull, who came back to intercept and clear it.
Had the great scoring chance and then was able to come all the way back down into the defensive zone and make a play and clear the zone.
USA back at full strength, and the puck comes to the blue line, taken out to center ice by Smolinski. 2-on-2. Now the trailer is Kevin Hatcher. Smolinski moving in, tried to pass over to Hatcher, but it was wide to the right side. Puck is held in. Now down in deep is Smolinski. He gets checked there. Tony Amati with it. Amati hanging out of the right point. Gives it behind the net to Brian Smolinski. Smolinski still with it up the middle. Amati, but it was just chipped away. And back comes Russia. 7:19 left to go in the first period. 1-0 Team USA. The winner advances to the finals against Canada. Puck is cleared back out to center. Played there by Fetisov. He moves it up to Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov with it now of the Detroit Red Wings. Fedorov's pass off the boards, and Kevin Hatcher will take it away. Hatcher flips it high on the glass and back out to center ice with 6:58 to go here in the first period. Here's Andrei Nikolishin. Nikolishin up to center ice. His pass on the right side broken up by Brian Leetch. Leetch gets hammered pretty good there by Tverdovsky.
But that's two rushes in succession for the Russians where they were stopped at the opposing blue line.
Nikolishin with a shot from outside the blue line is wide to the left. Puck is held in for a moment, but now Mike Modano intercepts, and we get a flare-up of tempers again here as the whistle blew, and Modano's there. Bill Guerin is there. Here's Kasparaitis coming in, and Guerin kind of looking one way and giving him a shot. So it looks like things are settling down with 6:35 to go in the first period. 1-0 USA.
Stop the Russians in the neutral zone. Watch the left ear screen. Brian Leetch, number 2, right there. Steps up on the play, breaks it up, and then the U.S. is able to go back the other way. That's part of their game plan tonight. Thus far, the U.S. team has done very well. Meanwhile, Brett Hull shorthanded. A great play by Doug Waite to spring Brett Hull, and he let go of the quick wrist shot. Looked like Trepilov was actually looking to his right, and the puck hit his left leg.
Here's Malakov on the power play with a shot up high and over the net. The penalty was elbowing against Keith Tkachuk. Russia trying to tie it up. Shot from the blue line, knocked down in front by Richter and cleared by Chelios. Joel Otto up front with Adam Deadmarsh to try and kill this penalty for Team USA, and Gary Suter and Chelios back defensively. Minute 37 to go in the power play. Kovalenko is up front. Here is Larionov. Larionov gives it to Kovalenko. Kovalenko drives it off the board, right side to Kozlov. Kozlov with it. They've got Tverdovsky at the right point, and they've got Malakov at the left point. Here is a pass to Tverdovsky, but he had the back pedal, and it came outside the blue line.
Excellent play by Chris Chelios, coming all the way over to put the pressure on and force the turnover.
Now Deadmarsh with it. Adam Deadmarsh shoots, and a save by Trepilov. Team USA looks for a short-handed goal. They don't get it there as Trepilov came up with a save, and now it rolls away from Fedorov. Cleared back out to center. Here's Vladimir Malakov giving it to Sergei Fedorov with 58 seconds left to go in the power play for Team Russia. 1-0 Team USA. Fedorov across the line. He dropped it back between his legs to Zubov. Now on the right side to Mogilny. Mogilny fell down. The puck taken by LaFontaine, and he clears to center. 43 seconds left to go in the power play. Slava Fetisov with it. He gives it up ahead now to Sergei Nemchinov. Nemchinov throws it off to the right, and they get it over to Fedorov. Fedorov gives it to Nemchinov. He shoots, and a save by Richter. And the puck cleared high in the air, back down into the Russian zone with 25 seconds to go in the man advantage.
Sergei Nemchinov and Mike Richter, teammates on the New York Rangers team. Who got the advantage there? Nemchinov knew where he tried to beat Richter. Richter probably knew where he was shooting.
You've seen that shot a few times in practice, I would imagine. 4:44 to go in the first period. Only 8 seconds left to go in this power play. Here's a 2-on-1 Mogilny. Mogilny pass on the right side, hopped over the stick of Yashin. Alexei Yashin coming down the right side, had the puck bounce over his stick. He's got it again, shoots, and a save by Richter through traffic. Mogilny was right in front of the net. Puck taken by Team USA and cleared to center. Oleg Tverdovsky back quickly to get it. Tverdovsky's pass up to center ice. Team USA back at full strength. Here's Chris Chelios, born in Chicago, Illinois. Went to high school there. Clears it across the red line, and it's picked up now by Kovalov. Kovalov across the line, right side. Modano picks him up. Now Kevin Hatcher picks him up. Centering pass, left side. Kasparaitis' drive deflected over to Keith Tkachuk. Here's Tkachuk ahead to Modano, and just out of his reach, and a stop made by Trefilov. And Modano almost took it away from Trefilov, and he covered it up for the faceoff. 1-0. Team USA will be back in a moment.
We gave Dodge...
Continues to try and spring their forwards behind the Russian defenseman. This time Mike Modano just misses, but look at the play. Modano keeps going. Trefilov takes his time. Little hook right there. Lifts the stick of Trefilov, and Modano nearly is able to get another scoring chance for Team USA.
Faceoff will be to the left of Trefilov in the Russian zone. 1-0, Team USA leading. Puck comes left side to Matthew Schneider, born in New York. Schneider sends it down on the corner, taken away by Tverdovsky. And Team Russia will take their time and then move it up on the right side. Here's Oleg Tverdovsky. He'll be with the Phoenix Coyotes this year. Pass off on the right side, broken up there. Team USA's Bill Guerin back to center, rolled off his stick, and Kasparaitis broke it up. Moments ago, some of the players on the Team USA bench up and hollering at Kasparaitis. Now down the middle in deep. Ulanov with a shot save. Rebound shot wide by Berezin. Igor Ulanov, he was just added to Team Russia this morning. He came in. He was in Tampa Bay. They were allowed to add him because they've had 3 injured players, so they could add Igor Ulanov. He has not played in any previous games in the tournament.
Yeah, those 3 injured players, Zamnov, Semak, and Karpatsev, all out for the rest of this tournament. We saw Zamnov get hurt the other night. He is going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks with a slightly separated shoulder. And that's tough news for the Chicago Blackhawks, who now own his rights.
But they say no surgery contemplated because of that separated shoulder. For Alexei Zamnov, he got hit by Sami Kapanen in the game against Finland a couple of nights ago. Puck comes up along the boards, left side, and Slava Kozlov bats at it there. Sends it around to Kovalenko. Now right side, hard check by John LeClair. Puck comes back up the middle, and LeClair is there to take it and rolls out across the blue line. And now we get an offside called against Russia as they threw it back in. Our new Dodge intermission report will be coming up, and that man right there, a great Russian veteran hockey player, Igor Larionov, will be Brian Hayward's guest. We'll have a feature on Keith Tkachuk and the highlights and more. It's all coming up your way on the new Dodge intermission report.
And again, the U.S. team continued to take the man at every opportunity. That's John LeClair on Yuskevich.
2:43 left to go in the first period. Team USA out shooting Russia 9-8, and Team USA scored 26 seconds into the game. No, this is not a replay of Monday's game at Madison Square Garden. It happened again tonight. LaFontaine getting the goal, and the only one so far. Here's Smolinski. He tried to roll it in front, but he intercepted and cleared by Kozlov. Up the center ice to Kovalenko. Kovalenko left side. He is checked down in deep in the corner by Brian Leetch. Larionov in to help out. They battle there. Leetch whacking at it. He gets some help from Tony Amonte. Now Amonte throws another check, and out to center comes Smolinski. Ryan Smolinski with John LeClair. Smolinski in the middle. Tried to go to the backhand, and Yushkevich made a nice play. Stayed right with him, right in front of the net. Russia clears it up to center ice. Tipped away there by Brett Hull, who's just jumped onto the ice with 1:48 to go in the first period. Bob Miller along with Joe Micheletti and Brian Hayward. If you're enjoying this showdown game, the winner goes to the finals of the World Cup. Shot from Fedorov is high and wide to the left. Rebound to Mogilny. Mogilny throws it down in the corner, and Waite tried to get to it, taken away by Mogilny. Mogilny right side. Mogilny couldn't get around Waite behind the net. It comes over to Fetisov. Fetisov, he gives it to Fedorov. Fedorov didn't get it. Mogilny checked there. Now Fedorov with it.
Chelios chases him, pushes him from behind. Chelios with it, turns, can't clear yet. Fetisov pinches in. Puck is held in, and Fedorov still with it. Into Nemchinov. Nemchinov tried to throw it in front. It was up high, came through left side to Zubov. Zubov's pass taken away by Chelios, and Team USA will clear. We're down to 1 minute left to go in the first period. Brett Hull shoots, and a save by Trepalov. Brett Hull along the boards, and Trepalov did the splits and reached out for the glove save.
Tremendous glove save by Trepalov. The Russians had the puck in the zone. Finally, the U.S. able to clear it, and this is Hull off the off wing. He takes a quick shot. Normally, Brett Hull plays the right wing, but on this team, he's playing left wing. He says it hasn't been much of an adjustment for him, and he really let the shot go quickly, and just an outstanding save by Trepalov.
Hull has assists and points in 3 straight games. He leads Team USA scoring with 6 points coming into the game tonight. Faceoff will be to the right of the goaltender Trepalov. The crowd here booing Brett Hull because he's born in Canada, but he said, they told me I wasn't good enough years ago to play with Team Canada. I will never play for them again. He said, I will play for Team USA. So the crowd here is a little upset over that.
People in U.S. are cheering.
Yeah. Boy, he gets that shot away quick, and he had a lot on that one. From the blue line, a shot wide to the left side and played now in deep as Kovalev got the shot, but it's picked up by Matthew Schneider. Schneider gets it to Adam Deadmarsh. Deadmarsh of the Colorado Avalanche in deep, and Spaulding was Trepalov to tip it away, and a penalty called here. We get a penalty called, I believe, behind the play. We're going to get a slashing call with 30 and 2/10 seconds left to go here in this first period. Team Russia not happy about this as Zelepukin goes to the penalty box. Look at him.
As Zelepukin screaming at the referee Terry Gregson, and this happened behind the play. Here's Matthew Schneider there, and that was Zelepukin coming in just as Schneider was making the pass, and I think it looked worse than it really was because the stick of Zelepukin broke. You could see the blade break off, and it really didn't look like much of a slash. It looked worse than it really was, and that's what he's upset about. So now the USA, with 30 seconds to go in this first period, they're going to have a 4-minute power play. I believe Zelepukin also got a misconduct on the play, or an unsportsmanlike conduct, I should say.
Well, he got up, as you can see, and hollered at the referee Terry Gregson. And that's exactly what he gets. 2 for slashing, 2 for unsportsmanlike conduct. And this pro-Russian crowd here in Canada have to set up some checkpoints at the border from now on, I guess.
Not happy here. Bob, you know, we talked at the start of the game about Trepalov. If he let in an early goal, how would he respond? He's responded very well. He's made some very good saves in this first period.
Here's Kovalenko ready on the draw with Keith Tkachuk. And off the faceoff, Brett Hull with it. Hull to the blue line to Leach. Leach hanging out with only 20 seconds left to go in the period. Puck comes over to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher right side. He feeds it down to Wink. To Hatcher. Shoots. Save Trepalov. Rebound. Score! Brett Hull right in front to jump on the rebound. And Team USA leads 2-0.
And Trepalov didn't have much of a chance on that. What a play by Brett Hull, because he was set up about 25 feet in the slot, 25 feet away from Trepalov, and Brett Hull initially tried to tip the shot, and when it got past him, he turned and headed right for the net immediately and was able to come up with the rebound and put it in. Now, with 14 seconds left, that's Zelepukin leaving the penalty box and heading to the Russian dressing room. And now referee Terry Gregson having a conversation with Fetisov, who was the captain of this team, and Larionov, one of the assistant captains.
I think perhaps Zelepukin may have been kicked out of the game. When the referee came over to report the goal, he sprayed him.
Here's the play right there. There's Hull, who tipped it initially and then just turned and went right back to the net. The shot was a perfect shot from Kevin Hatcher. And look at Tkachuk in front of the net. And Trefilov, you could see him. He actually leaves his positioning, goes over to push Tkachuk on the back, and then has to get back. He made the initial stop, the tip shot from Brett Hull, and then Hull was right there to jump on his own rebound. What a tournament he is having as the U.S. lead it 2-0.
He gets his third of the tournament. Kevin Hatcher with the assist at 19:45, the official time of the goal. That came with 14 and 2/10 seconds left. They're announcing the goal now, but I think the holdup might be they're discussing, is there an additional penalty now to Zelepukin, who is left. The second penalty to Zelepukin is now in effect, and Team USA is on the power play again. And there you see the goal scorer, Brett Hull. And Ron Wilson said, I want Brett Hull to come up and have a big game tonight. He just put Team USA ahead 2-0.
Oh, he's had a couple other chances also.
Here he is again, and his backhand pass to the right side. 5 seconds to go in the period. Shot by Hatcher over to Hull. Hull to try to give it a Leach. Hull shoots again and hit the side of the net. Loose puck in front at the buzzer, and that's the end of the first period as Kevin Hatcher got a whack at it right at the buzzer. But Team USA gets goals from Pat LaFontaine and Brett Hull, and they lead it 2-0. We'll find out the Russian viewpoint from Igor Larionov in a moment. With a winner going on to meet Team Canada in the best 2 out of 3 finals for the World Cup, which start on Tuesday night in Philadelphia. So over 18,000 fans here tonight, and let's go back down to one of them at ice side. That's Brian Hayward.
Paul, I want to get your thoughts on that first period.
Well, I thought the Russians really carried the play a little bit to us. We're fortunate to come away with a 2-0 lead. They did a good job of forcing us. We have to have better support all over the ice. We've got to use the boards when necessary.
You know, the team strategy going into tonight's game was to play really physical against them. Does that change at all now that you've got the 2-goal lead?
No, not at all. That's one of our strengths is to get the puck in deep and get after. We've got some bigger guys that like to forecheck, and we've got to do that a little bit better this period.
All right, Paul. Good luck.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, guys. Back up to you.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. U.S. assistant coach Paul Holmgren, a former head coach in the NHL, scouting director with the Philadelphia Flyers, and that whole staff has done a great job. You know, we talked to Joe about how they picked this team, and Lou Lamoriello, the general manager, told us they picked it with the team concept in mind, not just all big superstars, but players who can play a definite role in a team being a winning team.
Yeah, and the coaches did not have a say in who got picked. They picked the players first and then announced the coaches later on, and Ron Wilson decided against calling any of the players coaches and discussing personalities and what buttons to push and that type of thing. He felt, I'm just going to come in here and forget about all that, be myself, and let them do whatever they have to do, and it's worked perfectly for him.
Valery Zelepukin of the Russian team did get a 10-minute misconduct, not a game misconduct, but a 10-minute misconduct. That came after he got a double minor, and then he was upset when Brett Hull scored and apparently squirted with a water bottle, the referee, and got a 10-minute misconduct.
So the U.S. will start this second period up by a couple of goals and on the power play.
They've got 1:42 right now left with a man advantage. Here's Fetisov with it. He slaps it the length of the ice. And it'll be stopped back behind the net by Richter, and he leaves it for Brian Leach. Brian Leach with it, born in Corpus Christi, Texas, but spent most of his youth up in Connecticut. Puck taken across the line by Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher driving in deep. Puts it back on the right side of the power play. He's got Leach back with him at the blue line. Here on the left side now is Doug Waite. Waite pass comes around in the corner. Played there by Tkachuk. Brett Hull is the other forward up there, but it's cleared by Team Russia with 1:07 left to go on the power play.
And again, Team USA, they'll look to get Brett Hull the puck. He had 4 shots in the first period.
Here's Brian Leach in deep. His shot is just wide. Not a hard one, but just went wide to the right goalpost. Puck comes out of the right point. Held in there by Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher to Keith Tkachuk. Tkachuk with it. 50 goals he had last year for Winnipeg. Puck comes up the middle, but rolled away right to Slava Kozlov, and he clears with 40 seconds left to go now in the U.S. power play. Russia changing up their penalty killers. Team USA with it, back up to center ice now. Here across the line on the left side is Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher throws it in deep. Pass in front to Hull, but he was checked right there. Couldn't get it. 24 seconds left to go in the power play. Russia with it. Lost it for a moment to LaFontaine. He gives it to Hull. Now to LaFontaine. Pat LaFontaine waits into Hull. Hull pass back toward the blue line. Held in there, and on the right side, Chelios over to Hull. Quick shot, save made. Hull with it again. Brett Hull hanging on after Trepilov made that save. Here is Leach. 4 seconds to go on the power play. Back to Leach at the blue line. Power play is over. Hull with a shoot, save. Rebound. LeClaire couldn't jam it in. And LeClaire got knocked down by Yushkevich after Trepilov made the save.
And Brett Hull again with a couple of chances for Team USA. Andrei Trepilov able to come up with a couple of pretty good saves. Brett Hull wasn't at a great angle to shoot, but he was able to get the shot off so quickly. But Trepilov was able to get over to the side. This is Brian Leach setting up Hull here. You can see Hull again, not a great angle, but Trepilov was able to come up. He leans up right against that post, and then there's big John LeClaire in front. He's big, he's strong, he's difficult to move, and he was right there on the rebound, but Trepilov able to cover up.
Look at Brett Hull over on the bench as the face-off in the Russian zone. Played by Smolinski. Brian Smolinski down in the corner. Now here's pass to John LeClaire. LeClaire back to Smolinski. He's checked by Fedorov. They battle in the corner. Here's John LeClaire. LeClaire turning and giving it back over now towards Smolinski, but he didn't get it. It's back behind the net. Played by Kasparaitis for Team Russia. Now up ahead to Tverdovsky. Lost his helmet again. Check that chin strap.
He keeps going up against John LeClaire. It's so tough to keep that helmet on.
Puck driven off the fourth by Mogilny in deep, and here's Chelios back to get it. He gets knocked down from behind by Mogilny, and Chelios fell on top of the puck, and then it came loose, but the whistle had already blown, so we'll have a face-off coming up. Let's take a look at what's ahead in the World Cup, and we're coming down to, after tonight, maybe for sure 2 games, maybe 3. It all starts, the finals at Philadelphia Tuesday night in Game 1, then Montreal Thursday for Game 2, and if necessary, Saturday night Game 3, the finals in the World Cup of Hockey.
There's Boris Mikhailov, the Russian coach. He's made a couple of changes for this game. A couple of his better defensemen are out of this game. Alexei Zhitnik is out, as is Sergei Gonchar, who might be their best defenseman. They were nursing minor injuries, and they missed practice yesterday. Now, both players wanted to play in this game, and they were okay to play in this game. They were given the clearance by the medical staff, but because they missed practice, they couldn't play.
Fetisov with a drive that deflected in front of Richter and went wide of the left goal post. Team USA has outshot Russia 15-8 in the game, and they lead it 2-0. Here's Kevin Hatcher up to center ice. Hatcher drives it hard in deep into the Russian zone.
Bob, the other thing is those 2 players missed practice. So did Sergei Fedorov. He just wanted to rest, yet he's in the lineup.
Here is Kovalenko cutting in, and his shot hit the side of the net. Picked up there by Sergei Zubov. Backhander knocked away. Now held in again. Zubov right wing side, but he's beaten to the puck, and it's cleared out to center ice by Adam Deadmarsh, who beat him to it. Now going off the ice was LaFontaine. The puck came over and touched him as he went off the ice. Whistle blows here. We'll be back in a moment.
If I give you a clean sheet, what will you write? Will it be poetry or just plain English? If you have something to say, say it now, for soon my sheet will be filled, and this chapter will end, sure as the next will begin, with a clean sheet, new authors, and a million possibilities.
There we have a look at Alexander Mogilny, who plays for the Vancouver Canucks of the National Hockey League. Here's what the right wings have done in the last 4 years of the National Hockey League. Right up at the top of the list, Brett Hull, who's number 2. Alexander Mogilny. 6 of those 7 right wingers are playing in this year's World Cup.
Well, a great preview of the Olympics in 2 years, when the NHL is going to shut down and all of these great players are going to play for their country in the Olympics, and we're getting a glimpse right now of the kind of competition you're going to see. Here's Alexei Yashin to center. He gives it to Berezin. Berezin down the middle, now in front. Kovalev turns, just couldn't handle it in time to get the shot off. He gets checked there by Bill Guerin. Puck rolls loose. Here's Guerin up to center ice. Guerin got it from Modano. Now on the right side, back to Modano. His pass in front, just out of the reach of Tkachuk. He got leveled from behind. Tkachuk did. Puck taken by Leach. Now to Tkachuk. Keith Tkachuk left side. His pass in front, knocked down. Tkachuk goes down again. Puck to the blue line to Leach. Leach waits, shoots, save. Rebound up the middle and in the air. And now a penalty coming up against Team USA. Delayed call. Here's Kovalev across the line. Drops it back. Is shot by Yashin and a save by Richter.
Well, Team USA is going to get a high sticking penalty. Meanwhile, what a play by Mike Modano coming back on Kovalev and not allowing him to take the shot. Here it is here. Coming all the way back. Modano, there he is, number 9. He'll come across. He'll make the play defensively, and then he ends up with the puck and nearly scores down at the other end. That's the type of team defense and team commitment that Coach Ron Wilson has been talking to his team about.
Ron Wilson said the easiest part is the physical play. Getting them to play like a team is another matter.
Well, and then you saw the high sticks there on Yushkevich of the Russians, and that's Keith Tkachuk that's going to get the high sticking penalty. So Russia, trailing by a couple of goals, will get an opportunity on the power play.
2-0 in favor of Team USA. 15:44 to go in the second period. Puck is taken by Chris Chelios. He's trying to get away from McGillney, and he drives it out to the blue line of Russia. Zubov with it there. He gives it to Nemchinov. Russia on the power play. Fetisov, his pass out of the reach of McGillney. Puck comes in deep, and Richter will play it there. Gary Suter stayed right with McGillney, but Team USA doesn't clear it. Here's Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov on the left side, back to the right point to Zubov. Zubov sends it to Fetisov. Now on the left side again, Fedorov to McGillney. McGillney waits, fanned on a pass, now gets it over to Fedorov. He had to play it off the boards. Back to the blue line. It comes to Zubov for right point. Zubov to Fetisov. Fetisov, his shot blocked by Joel Otto out to center ice. Back to get it is Fedorov on the power play for Russia for another minute 12. Zubov rolls it down the right side. Tipped in deep, played by Fedorov. He gets it over to McGillney. Alexander McGillney to the blue line to Zubov to McGillney. Over to Fetisov. He waits with Otto right in front of him. Now into Nemchinov. He's chased by Chelios. Into the corner goes Gary Suter for the USA, and he clears out the center ice.
Excellent puck movement by the Russians. They were able to control it, but as you notice, the puck was always on the outside. They weren't able to get the puck inside and get a good shot on Mike Richter.
41 seconds left to go on the power play for Russia. 2-0. U.S. leading here in the second period. Here across or to the blue line is Zubov to Kozlov. Kozlov drives it hard back behind the net and in the corner to Kovalenko. He is checked there by Darian Hatcher. Hatcher and Kovalenko. Hatcher pushing at Kovalenko. He's trying to hold Hatcher off. Puck comes loose. Here is Larionov spinning around. He gets checked there. Larionov still with it. Chased by LaFontaine. Larionov in the corner with 14 seconds to go in the power play. To the blue line to Zubov. Zubov the right side. Under 10 seconds left in the power play. Larionov can't jam it in. Knocked away by LaFontaine. Under 5 seconds to go in the power play. Kozlov's pass chipped away behind the net by Leach, and the Team USA is back at full strength. And we're going to get another penalty here called against Team USA. They just killed this one off as Russia had good puck movement, but very few shots at Richter. And now Team USA takes an interference penalty. You can see the call by Terry Gregson.
And Larionov tried to just bring the puck out in front and jam it in. There's Pat LaFontaine. Now he's a forward up high, and you can see him when the puck goes down deep. Look what LaFontaine does. Goes all the way to the net. That was Larionov trying to cut back in front, but LaFontaine, the forward, came all the way back to the net defensively and made a good play.
Well, there's Pat LaFontaine. He got the scoring started tonight 26 seconds after the opening faceoff. But now he's... Well, the penalty, Scott Young is in the penalty box, excuse me, for Team USA. And the puck is taken by Chelios. Chelios will not be able to clear, held in by Kovalev. Kovalev up the middle it goes now to Tverdovsky, the right point. Back to Kovalev. Kovalev still with it. His pass down along the right side. Played there by Nicolishin. sends it over to Malakoff. Up the middle, Tverdovsky. His shot blocked at the blue line by Joel Otto. And still the U.S. unable to clear. And now Otto down on top of the puck along with Tverdovsky.
Well, Chelios didn't get much of a rest. He killed off most of the last penalty that Team USA had. There was a slight delay as Scott Young was skating to the penalty box, and Chelios had come right back on the ice to kill off the second one. Now he gets a break. I'm not sure there's a player in the National Hockey League that has better stamina than Chris Chelios. He's the type of player that can play 35, 40 minutes a game, never seems to get tired, and plays at a very high level.
Won 3 Norris trophies as the best defenseman in the NHL, including last season. 13:05 left to go here in the second period. 2-0 in favor of Team USA. On the power play for another minute 20. Team Russia centered by Nemchinov, broken up by Brett Hull. Team USA up front, killing the penalty. Doug Weight, he's cruising in deep. He's got Brett Hull with him. Ryan Leach back defensively, along with Darian Hatcher. Now here's Batista. And across the line, the whistle blew as they came across the line. And see if we have any other penalties here. No indication yet by Gregson, but Darian Hatcher was involved along the far boards.
Well, what happened, Brett Hull came back on the play and took Sergei Fedorov and forced him offside right there to the right of your screen. That's Brett Hull, 15 in the white. He just pushes Fedorov off the or inside the line, and then Fetisov was hit hard by Darian Hatcher. Darian Hatcher, 6'5", big and strong. Fetisov is 220 pounds himself, but Darian Hatcher able to come up with a big hit.
Well, it looked
Slava Fetisov.
Looked like neither of them heard the whistle because Fetisov was still going at a pretty good clip, and so was Darian Hatcher.
Darian Hatcher has not passed up an opportunity to hit someone, and when he takes someone out of the play, he takes them out with a great deal of authority.
Does he say then, excuse me, I didn't hear the whistle blow?
No, hardly. Darian Hatcher is one of those underrated defensemen, and he plays with a real mean streak.
Here's Joel Otto with a shot and a save by Trefilov. And Joel Otto got it right in the slot, and Trefilov came up with that stop, and he hangs on. It was centered to him by Pat LaFontaine, who took the puck away in the Russian zone.
Now Joel Otto, one of the best penalty killers in the National Hockey League throughout his career. Big, strong, very good on faceoffs. Now entering tonight's game, we'll take a look at the leading scorers in this year's World Cup hockey tournament. Matt Sundin, his team was eliminated last night by Canada, finished with 7 points. Sergei Fedorov, Brett Hull, you see there, had 6 points coming into this game, and he's added a goal tonight.
Joel Otto on the draw. He was born in Elk River, Minnesota. Spent 4 years at Bemidji State. Taken now by Russia and moved up ahead on the left side by Igor Ulanov, but broken up by Gary Suter. 30 seconds left to go in the power play for Russia. USA takes it away in deep. It was Pat LaFontaine jumping on it again, but his centering pass tipped away and out to center ice where Gary Suter drives it back in. 17 seconds left to go on the Team USA penalty. Scott Young in the penalty box. Up to center ice, Andrei Kovalenko. Kovalenko across the line, checked there. Less than 10 seconds to go in the power play. Now Russia in deep. They had Kozlov in deep and then tried to get it back to the top of the slot. And it didn't connect with anyone, and the penalty is over. Team USA back at full strength. Here's Igor Larionov. Larionov gives it to Kovalov. Kovalov driving right side, goes behind the net. Suter on top of him, centers it out in front. Broken up there. Held in by Kasparaitis. Kasparaitis left side. He tried to center it. It hit a skate. Played now by Matthew Schneider, and he banks it off the boards to center. 2-0. Team USA leading. Goals by LaFontaine from Otto and Deadmarsh, and Brett Hull from Kevin Hatcher and Mike Modano. Schneider with it. Clears it up towards center ice. And here comes Doug Weight. Weight across the line. Drops it to Matthew Schneider, but his pass tipped away. 3-on-1 for Russia. Right side. Berezin. Berezin moving in. Shoots. He hit the goalpost. Yashin shoots. Now the red light went on. It came out in a hurry.
Russia apparently has scored. I thought he hit the post, but the light came on.
And I think it came in and out of the net so quickly that even the goal judge had some trouble turning the light on initially. Beresin had a 3-on-1 and elected to take the shot and let it go. Here it is again. Beresin, 3-on-1, takes the shot. Oh, you can see what happened. It actually hit the left goal post first, then went inside the net to the other side and back out quickly.
They're going to review it right now.
And they're going to review it again, but it looked like the other replay we had, the first one, it looked like it hit the left post, if you're Mike Richter, off the post, and then up inside and out quickly. Here's a shot again by Beresin. Tough to see from that angle. And then Mike Richter was able to cover up.
And they're going to count it. It did go in. It went off the post and then in. And Sergei Beresin has pulled Team Russia to within a goal. They trail 2-1. And a big roar from the pro-Russian crowd here in Ottawa, Ontario.
Russia had a couple of chances with 2 consecutive power plays, and that didn't let them slow them down. Even though they didn't score, they come right back on the U.S. giveaway. Matthew Schneider tried to move up with the play, lost the puck, and that allowed Russia to come back 3-on-1 and score.
Now Team USA with it. Smolinski with a shot deflected wide. Picked up by John LeClair. To Smolinski behind the net. Smolinski up the middle. Tony Amonte. Backhander. Looked like it was knocked down by Treveloff. And as he sprawled in front of the net, now it is cleared up ahead to Mogilny, but off his skate. Now Russia with it again. Pass ahead to Nemchinov. He gets stopped as he came across the line. Tony Amonte back to get it. Moves it quickly up the left side. 10:07 left to go here in the second period. 2-1 now. Team USA leading by 1 after the goal by Beresin. Pass in front. Shot, score! Right in front of the net. It came to Tony Amonte. And Team USA leads 3-1.
Well, give John LeClair a lot of credit for just simply going to the net. On the play, Brian Smolinski, he just threw it from the far boards towards the net. And John LeClair, we mentioned his size. He's tough to defend against. He'll just go to the net. The puck will end up ricocheting, I believe, off him. And then onto the stick of Tony Amonte. There's the play right there. And the puck deflects. That's LeClair going to the net. Ends up right on the stick of Amonte. 10 is LeClair. Watch him go to the net. The puck is actually deflected first by Amonte, then off the Russian defenseman skate Zubov. And then Amonte put it in with the goaltender Treveloff going to the left. Amonte came right across the net and put it into the empty side, and U.S. has regained their 2-goal lead.
Ryan Smolinski gets an assist. The time of the goal by Tony Amonte at 10:01. And Team USA regains that 2-goal lead.
How many times have you heard coaches say, if you don't have a play, throw the puck to the net and get someone going? And that's exactly what happened and ends up in the net.
So less than a minute after Beresin scored on the 3-on-1 break for Russia, Amonte comes back, makes it 3-1 Team USA. 9:29 left to go here in this second period. Here's Mike Modano with a shot and a save by Treveloff. Down on his knees in the crease, and we'll be back in a moment.
This year, Dallas Stars season tickets are really going to fly. Because this year, you get a free round-trip ticket on American Airlines or American Eagle with every full season ticket you buy. Anywhere they fly in the continental U.S., Toronto or Montreal. Taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. Dallas Stars hockey, now boarding.
On the bench, he had 31 goals at Chicago in 81 games last season. He's had 30 or more goals 3 of his 5 years in the NHL, and he just put Team USA ahead 3-1. 55 seconds after Russia scored their first goal, Team USA came back.
Yeah, Zubov had to take John LeClair, and that left Amonte. No one on him. He just picked up the loose puck and finished the rest.
Alexei Yashin moves it up to Kovalev at the blue line. Both teams are at full strength with 9:15 left to go here in the second period. Puck is taken away by Adam Deadmarsh at center ice over to LaFontaine. Deadmarsh chasing it down with Kasparaitis. Oh, and he rocks Kasparaitis, who was going to turn around and hit him as he came down the right side. And Kasparaitis got rocked back a stride or two by Adam Deadmarsh. Long pass now by Yashin is going to be an icing call against Team Russia. Coming up at the end of this period, the new Dodge intermission report, and Brian Hayward will be talking with Brett Hull, who has a goal in this game tonight. And Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the National Hockey League, will be joining Brian. That's on the New Dodge Intermission Report at the end of this period.
Thus far in this game, the U.S. has outshot Russia 20-10. The last time they played, Russia was able to come up with 34 shots on goal, but they've had a more difficult time here tonight.
Brett Hull to Brian Leach. Leach to the left side, drives it in deep, and Alexei Yashin takes over there as Team Russia tried to clear, intercepted on a pass right up the middle, and Brett Hull had it for a moment, couldn't hang on. Here's Sergei Berezin, and they go offside of the blue line. Berezin scored his first goal of the tournament for Russia in this game tonight.
I'm Jim McKay with another update from the 2020 Global Games. Little Jacqueline Keller captured the goal today on the highly uneven bars, while Austria's gentle giant Milos dominated the one-ton power lift. The highlight of the day so far was the record-breaking 300-meter dolphin relay.
The world of sports has evolved since all sport. Now with B vitamins, athletes need to unlock carbohydrate energy. It's more than a thirst quencher, it's a body quencher.
Coming up later, the graduated hurdles.
A woman's place is in the home. Doing the dishes is a woman's job.
Heading down the middle, dishes off to Stevens for two.
Women don't know how to drive. Women don't know how to play the game. Support the Women's Sports Foundation.
Well, there's a reference to last night in Philadelphia when that game went almost to the end of the second overtime. It did go to the end of the second overtime, just about 13 seconds shy when Team Canada won it. Brendan Shanahan tipping in the game-winning goal, and everybody here in Canada up late watching that game. Here's Mogilny now shooting in a pad save by Richter. Then Mogilny gets sent sprawling by Team USA as the puck comes back on the right side. In deep is Young. Now a shot by Darian Hatcher wide to the left. Ryan Leach threw the check back there on Mogilny after he got that shot off. What a thrilling game last night, though. Fleury got that first shot, and then right in front was Shanahan to tip it in right after Johan Garpenloff about 10 seconds earlier had hit the goal post down at the other end that would have won the game for Sweden.
Yeah, and then late last night they ended up changing the goal and giving it back to Fleury, who initially took the shot. They did that late. Meanwhile, let's take a look at our men in fast fact. USA Stanley Cup experience. How about Team USA? 13 players on this team have won the Stanley Cup. So this is a team that has had a lot of experience winning big games. Right at the top, Colorado Avalanche winning last year. There's the youngster Adam Deadmarsh, just 21 years of age, and Scott Young, also a member of that team.
We've got 8:01 to go here in the second period in front of a packed house at the Corel Center in Ottawa. Team USA with a 3-1 lead. Puck taken by Slava Kozlov with the Detroit Red Wings in the NHL. His pass down the right side. It's Igor Larionov of the Red Wings trying to get to it. Can't reach it. Bouncing puck. Larionov's down. Or excuse me, it's now let's hold off there. Is it Kozlov that's down and injured? I think it is Slava Kozlov down on his knees for Team Russia. That's who it is. Slava Kozlov. 36 goals for the Red Wings last season, and let's take a look at it again here.
Well, Kozlov is spinning to take the shot. He got hit with a stick. I believe it was Gary Suter's stick. There's Suter right there. No, it's actually the stick, I believe, of Chris Chelios. Ended up getting his stick up, and Kozlov caught the stick in the face, and he went down. This U.S. defense, a group of defensemen, is making it very difficult in front of their own net on the Russian players. That's one of the reasons why the Russians only have 12 shots on goal thus far in this game. Still 7:42 to play in the second period.
They've changed an assist on Brett Hull's goal. It's now Kevin Hatcher and Doug Waite rather than Mike Modano, and the assist on the Russian goal on the 3-on-1 went to Alexei Yashin. The goal was scored by Berezin. They have just made those announcements with 7:27 to go in the second period. Team USA scored 26 seconds into the game for the second straight time against the Russians. They also did it last Monday in Madison Square Garden, and they have never trailed in the game. And now another hit out at center ice. So tempers have been flaring ever since the opening faceoff in this game.
Yeah, and Bob, don't you get the feeling that even though the U.S. is leading by a couple of goals and the shots are 21-12 in their favor, that every time Russia gets the puck and they have a little bit of room, something good could happen very quickly for the Russians. The way they handle the puck, and they haven't quit, even though they got down 2-0 and now again are down by a couple of goals. They haven't quit. They're still trying to gain the blue line. They're still trying to make the plays. They're still holding on to the puck, looking for that late man coming, but the U.S. is making it a little bit more difficult than Finland did 2 nights ago.
Similar to Matt Sundin last night. Every time he touched it, you thought he was going to score. Shot by Kasparaitis and a save made by Mike Richter. 7:11 to go here in the second period.
Speaking of goaltending, how about Curtis Joseph last night for Team Canada as well? It was spectacular.
Here is Kevin Hatcher, and he gives it to Modano. He gets it up to center ice to Keith Tkachuk, but a two-line. Well, let's see what they're going to call here. We have a whistle behind the play. I thought they were going to call a two-line pass, but we're going to get a high sticking penalty called by referee Terry Gregson.
Well, Berezin lost his helmet on the play, and Terry Gregson makes another call, so that's 3 consecutive penalties for Team USA, and Russia again will go on the power play. Who's it going to be this time? It's like, well, Mike Modano is heading to the penalty box as he'll go off for high sticking. So Russia still in this game, trailing by a couple of goals. They'll go on the power play as Modano goes off for Team USA. Here's Modano here handling the puck, tries to clear it, and he kept his stick up. That was Berezin coming up to take Modano out of the play, and Modano, no question about it, kept his stick up. He knocked the helmet off Berezin, and he'll go off for the high stick.
Now, Ron Wilson can't be happy about that kind of play. You just mentioned you just can't keep giving Russia those kind of opportunities. No need to do that right there. It's one thing to hit, but it's another to take stupid penalties and give a team that's down 3-1 a chance to get back in the game, and Russia's on the power play now.
Well, especially a team that can turn things around so quickly and get themselves right back in it.
Here up to center ice, Tverdovsky gives it to Alexei Yashin. Yashin down the middle, partially fanned on his shot, didn't get a good one off. Didn't look like he wanted to pass, and then thought maybe I should shoot, and never did get either one accomplished. Here's Tverdovsky, checked in deep by Joel Otto. Team USA ahead 3-1. We've got 6:28 to go in the second period. Bob Miller along with Joe Micheletti and Brian Hayward. On the right side, here is Kovalov. Kovalov dropping it back to Sergei Zubov. Zubov to Tverdovsky. Tverdovsky checked by LaFontaine. Tverdovsky again. LaFontaine right in front of him. Pass to Zubov. Zubov moves it down to Kovalev. Adam Detmark checking him. Here is Kovalev again. He waits. Cross ice pass. Shot from there by Berezin. Save made. Yashin tried to get it. Couldn't do it. Comes back to Tverdovsky. Now on the right side is Zubov. Zubov. He gives it to Kovalov. His pass taken away. And it's cleared back into the Russian zone.
And again, the Russians are content to set up 5 in a large circle around inside the offensive zone. They don't have anyone in front of the goaltender Richter.
And on the right side, here's Kozlov. The penalty time not on the clock now. Puck comes down and deep in the corner. Power play for Russia. Up to Zubov. Zubov shoots, knocked down in front, and Chelios got dragged down. Couldn't draw a penalty. In deep is Fedorov, and he gets stopped. 30 seconds left to go in the power play for Russia, and the puck cleared on target. Stop made by Kovalov. Quickly gets it up to Slava Kozlov. Kozlov for Russia. 20 seconds left to go in the power play. Now at center ice, here's Mogilny. 3-1, Team USA leading. We're in the second period. Kozlov, quick pass. Chelios comes back to take it away. He gets it up on the right side. Here is Waite moving in. Waite to Hull. Hull shoots. He scores! Brett Hull makes it 4-1, Team USA. His second of the night and 4th of the tournament.
Gary Bettman looking on in amusement. Boy, what a shot from Brett Hull, and what a smart play. Again, Chelios clears it, and this is a 2-on-1. But Brett Hull has to slow down at the blue line, so instead of breaking in to the net, he breaks to the middle. And Doug Waite gives him the perfect pass. Here it is again. Here's Waite. Now Brett Hull was on the other side. He cuts to the middle, and he's fooled the Russian players. And then was just enough time for him to get open. The perfect pass by Doug Waite. The quick release by Brett Hull, who scores his second of the night, and now the U.S. up by 3.
Short-handed goal for Brett Hull, the second short-handed goal for Team USA in the tournament. Pat LaFontaine has the other one. So Hull getting booed here in Canada because, as we mentioned earlier, he was born in Canada and said he would not play for them because he wasn't invited once before, told he wasn't good enough. He's showing him tonight he's good enough.
The only thing bigger than Jeff Bagwell's batting average is his heart. He doesn't care for the publicity that goes with appearances, but we caught him fulfilling dreams for quite a few fans recently. From disadvantaged children to hospital patients, Jeff makes time for those less fortunate in the community. Special kids, like this child with the Dream Factory, whose wish was to meet Jeff, are in for a treat when they meet the Astros slugger. They all hold a special place in Jeff's heart. Jeff Bagwell, an Astro in action.
Volleyball's biggest guns are uncommon with both barrels ablazing under the hot Texas sun. Watch gold medalist Kurt Kirai and Ken Steffes duel it out with Adam Johnson and Jose Loyola in an old-fashioned winner-take-all showdown. September the 15th, as Paul Mitchell presents the $100,000 Great Texas Shootout in association with Gatorade. It'll be at 3 o'clock at Emerald Point on Lake Travis, followed by the...
On one shorthanded. Now Brett Hull will come into picture right there. Now watch how he stops, goes to the middle. That gives him enough time. Takes the perfect pass from Doug Waite. There's the quick release we talked about, and he beats Trefilov to make it 4-1.
Let us clarify why Brett Hull is playing for Team USA. He was born in Belleville, Ontario. Of course, he's the son of the great Bobby Hull, but his mother is American. Same thing for Adam Deadmarsh. Adam was born in Trail, British Columbia, but his mother is American, so he is eligible to play for Team USA. And they had a feature on the scoreboard here on Hull, and the crowd was booing vociferously. But Brett Hull is going to quiet this Canadian crowd tonight. He's got 2 goals already. Now a check along the boards, and again, we've got a... After Kovalenko got knocked down and was slashed, and now tempers flare again.
And Team USA will end up short-handed again unless Terry Gregson decides to call something on the Russian well after the penalty. The penalty will go to Kevin Hatcher for slashing. Andrei Kovalenko had the puck, carried it over the U.S. zone, and here, coming up right here, there's the play right there. The slash by Kevin Hatcher on the wrist of Andrei Kovalenko. And he'll go to the penalty box. And we also have one of the Russian players going there also.
4:21 left to go in the second period. Team USA has led all the way, 2-0 at the end of 1. Then led 2-1 here in the second, and have had goals by Tony Amati and Brett Hull, second of the game, to stretch the lead to 4-1 here in the second period.
And Keith Tkachuk now also in the penalty box as well for Team USA.
So Lanov in for Russia. Tkachuk and Kevin Hatcher in for Team USA. There's the man that has the goal. He knows how to score. Berezin played in Germany last year at 49 goals, and he is the property of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs need some scoring. They're hoping he can step into the lineup and provide them with that offensive punch that they're lacking.
Faceoff will be just outside the U.S. blue line with a power play for Russia. Brett Hull with a power play goal and a short-handed goal in the game tonight. Joel Otto will take this faceoff. He's got Brian Leach and Darian Hatcher back defensively. And off the draw, the puck played by Yashin. He gets knocked down by Darian Hatcher. Here is Joel Otto, and he clears it into the Russian zone. Russia 0 for 5 on the power play so far in this game tonight. So they're 4 out of 22 in the tournament. Here's Sergei Berezin in deep, and he's pushed off balance by Leach. Puck comes to Yashin up the middle. Pass on the right side. Kovalov with it. Kovalov got it from Tverdovsky. Kovalov again. He's got room. He shoots. It's blocked right in front by Leach. Picked up again. Here's Kovalov with it. Kovalov up the middle to Tverdovsky. Back over to Kovalev. Just passed down in deep and centered in front. Back to Kovalev. Kovalev on the right side on the power play for a minute 10. Tverdovsky back to Alexei Kovalev. He waits, shoots, blocked again by Leach. Tverdovsky, his pass in front. Leach broke it up. He gets it along the board toward Joel Otto. Otto can't clear. It deflects in the corner to Alexei Yashin. Picked up there by Darian Hatcher. Hatcher over to Leach. Now up along the board. Tailed in again by Tverdovsky. Deadmarsh was there to try and clear. Couldn't do it. Kovalev with it on the power play. Gave it away to Deadmarsh. And he clears into the Russian zone.
What a shift for Brian Leach. Twice blocked shot by Kovalev. And then was able to help clear the puck here right at the end. What a job. Still 30 seconds to go on the Russian power play.
Well, the Russian players at the blue line, unlike a lot of NHL players, not just blasting away with that shot, trying to finesse it in deep in front to get that better shot. And it was continually broken up.
They're just not getting the chances on the power play. They've had quite a few in this game, and with a chance to get back in the game on a number of occasions, Bob, and they just haven't executed well.
Here's Zubov with 5 seconds left to go on the power play to Fedorov. Fedorov, he's got room. He waits. He gets over the middle. Shot by Zubov. Knocked down and cleared out to center ice. That was blocked by Scott Young, and he limps over to the Team USA bench. Team USA back at full strength, leading 4-1. 2:09 to go here in the second period. Gary Suter, born in Madison, Wisconsin, drives it down in deep into the Russian zone. Now it comes to Doug Weight. His backhander is wide to the right, actually more of a pass, and now it's cleared out to center ice. Played along the boards by Mogilny. Here is Brett Hull. Hull down in the corner. Leaves it there for Darian Hatcher. Darian Hatcher is spun around, and it's sent right in front by Larionov, but nobody there for the Russians. Picked up by Kasparaitis. He took a dive in the corner, trying to draw a high sticking penalty. Nothing was called, and Hull can't clear. Tverdovsky's pass to Nikolishin is wide. Puck comes over to Mogilny. Minute 27 to go here in the second period. Tverdovsky in front. Backhander. Save on the shot by Nikolishin, and Richter with a save.
And I believe Darian Hatcher came back to help out as well. The U.S. defenseman. Pretty good puck movement by the Russians on that play. Nikolishin with the last chance. It looked like he might have had the puck behind Mike Richter. Here's Richter here. Going down. Nikolishin right there. Goes off the, great play by Darian Hatcher coming back, because that puck, after Nikolishin took the shot, he actually hits the post. Right here, hits the post, and it'll come out, hit the glove of Richter, and it's trickling towards the goal line. And that was Darian Hatcher coming behind Richter to save a goal for the U.S.
And Andrei Nikolishin skated over the bench, shaking his head. 4-1, Team USA. There's Darian Hatcher, got his stick on it right at the goal line. Hatcher, the Dallas Stars, 5 years in the NHL. Played now by Matthew Schneider. And it is cleared up to center ice. John LeClair. LeClair with Brian Smolinski. Puck is taken away, and Alexei Yashin with it. 1:08 left to go here in this second period. Batted away at center ice. Smolinski tried to get it. Tverdovsky took it there. Flipped down in deep into the Team USA zone. 1 minute left to go here in the second period. Up comes to John LeClair. LeClair gives it over now to Schneider. Long shot from the blue line. Save made. Rebound to Tony Amati. Amati's got a goal in the game tonight. Puck is taken by LeClair behind the net. Tipped away. LeClair with it again. Shoots on a save by Trepalov. Up the middle. Amati shoots. Just deflected wide. Smolinski with a shot, knocked down by Trepalov and cleared by Tverdovsky. Team USA almost getting their 5th goal of the game.
Well, they wanted to put pressure on the Russian defense, and when they get in deep, the Russian defensemen are not taking the U.S. players in front of the net. That's why Team USA is getting 2 and 3 chances and shots at Trepalov.
Harrison across the line, but it's broken up there by LeClair. He sends it in deep, and we're going to get an icing call against Team USA. 11.2 seconds to go here in the second period. Team USA leading 4-1. We all look back to 1980. Hard to believe it's almost 17 years ago when Team USA won the gold medal, beating Russia and the rest of the teams in the Olympics. And In the meantime, Joe, everyone has said up until now they have realized indeed what a miracle that was, that a bunch of college kids beat some of the great teams in the world. But now Team USA with the talent to challenge the best teams in the world.
That's right. And of course the old Soviet system now changed so much where all their great players are North Americanized, so to speak, because they come over, they make a lot of money. And you know, Bob, I think you've noticed it too. There've been, you know, some grumblings in the Russian on the Russian side throughout this tournament.
Zubov got that shot that was saved by Richter, and we're down to the end of the second period with Team USA ahead 4-1. Coming up on the New Dodge Intermission Report, Ryan Hayward and Brett Hull.
Had a game plan that we're going to play against the Russians, and we're the first game we did it to a T, and you know, tonight we're doing it again, and that's the way you're going to beat them. And you can't give them odd-numbered Russians and let them have your blue line, because they're way too good if you do. So you got to have a guy back, no odd-man rushes, and with I think we have the best D in the tournament, and if they stand up, they're not able to dipsy-doodle like they can.
We're going to do something now that you'll probably be pretty upset about, and that is we're going to take a look at your 2 goals tonight. I'd like you to have a look at them. Maybe you can lead us through it.
Well, this is just good play by Dougie Wade. He throws it out to Kevin Hatcher, who makes a good shot. I actually got a good tip on the first one, and the rebound came off his chest right to me, and I just took a whack at it, and it went under him.
Joe Micheletti remarked on the instincts of a goal scorer on your second goal that's coming up. What's going through your mind here as you move into the open space?
Well, actually, I'm just going up the ice thinking Chris might give it to me, and when he went up the boards, it hit a guy and went to Dougie Wade, and I saw Dougie in trouble, and Zubov went at him instead of staying with me, so I cut in as he went towards the passer. I went towards him with him, and he threw it right back to me, and I just fired it at the goal.
You know, at this morning's skate, I was very impressed by that loose and confident atmosphere in the Team USA locker room. Who could you attribute that to?
You got to attribute it to Coach Wilson. He's a tremendous coach. He really tries to keep you loose, and I guess it's easier when you're playing or coaching these great players such as us in the room. But he's made it fun for us to be here. He knows what a sacrifice a month out of your life is away from your families, but he also knows the seriousness of the tournament, and he made it fun. He did a lot of good things. We went golfing a lot and things like that, and made practice very loose. But you can just feel it in him and look in his eyes when he talks to you about what he wants done on the ice. He means business, and he's just a tremendous guy. And then you've got the assistant coaches and Homer, and they're just good guys. And the whole group has played together a lot before, and we're getting along so well. It's fun out there.
There's a perception that the U.S. is now an emerging international hockey powerhouse. How important is that to the players?
Well, I don't know if they really care about the U.S. or anything else. There's a group of guys in here that realize that they have a chance to do something that hasn't been done in a long time, and they're playing against the greatest players in the world. And I think everybody wants it to happen. So I think that's the key.
All right, Brett, thanks for being with us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much, Brian.
All right, that's Brett Hull, sniper for Team USA. Stay with us. When we return, we'll have a conversation with the commissioner of the National Hockey League, Gary Bettman. After 2 periods of play, US 4, Russia 1.
A bit in particular on the power play, and we mentioned that earlier. They've had 6 power play chances, have not scored. They have just 16 shots on goal in this game, so they're not paying the price to go to the net and look for those goals.
Here is Mogilny, third period underway. Fedorov with him. Now it comes back out of the right point. Sent down to Mogilny in the corner. He lost his balance. Leach with it there. Held in at the point for a moment by Yushkevich, but now Adam Deadmarsh for Team USA. Deadmarsh with Joel Otto and LaFontaine, but they can't get it over to Pat LaFontaine on the right wing. Russia comes back, trailing 4-1. Third period just underway. Shot by Fedorov is wide. He leaned into that one. Still won't count as a shot on goal. It was wide. Now tipped away by Richter. Puck rolls up to Adam Deadmarsh. He chips it out to center ice. Puck comes back over now to Igor Ulhanov. Just joined this Russian team today because they have 3 players injured, so they were allowed to bring him in. Now Andrei Nikolitin, he almost scored except for the stick of Darian Hatcher in that second period. His shot is up high in front. Larionov, and it just rolled away. Now centered in front, deflected off a skate and somehow didn't go in. And back to center comes Brett Hull. Hull with 2 goals tonight. He gets dumped by Zubov. Hull is right back up, and we have a fight back at the other end. Kovalenko into a scrap with
looks like Doug Wade. I think what ended up happening, I think Richter made a great save because Doug Weight was tied up with Kovalenko, and the pass ended up coming from behind the net, and I believe Kovalenko got his stick on it and took the shot with Weight hanging all over him, and I think Richter just made a great save on Kovalenko, and then the three of them basically stayed together. Weight and Kovalenko went down. Here it is here. Again, this is Kovalenko in front. That's Doug Weight with him. Now watch this. There it is right there. What a save by Richter with the left pad on Kovalenko, and then Doug Weight won't let him go. He's got his legs together, and the skate of Kovalenko between the two, and Mike Richter comes out to help out. And then Doug Weight wants a piece, but he goes, oh, slipped on the stick. He goes down on the play, and by that time the linesman and everyone else had come in. But what a save by Mike Richter. An early goal by Russia in this third period gets them to within 2, and then a lot of things can happen with this kind of time left. That's a tremendous save by Richter to keep the 3-goal lead.
Coach Ron Wilson looking on. He has been the head coach behind the bench for the last 3 U.S. victories over Russia in senior level international competition.
Yeah, a couple of times in the World Championships. And of course they beat Russia 5-2 Monday night, but in 1996 the World Championships were in Vienna, where they won 4-3 in overtime and ended up winning a bronze. That's the first time since 1962 that the U.S. has won any medal in the World Championships, and then back in '94 in Italy they won also.
Chelios with a shot knocked away by Trepilov. The penalties to Kovalenko of Russia and to Doug Weight of the USA, holding against Weight as it's brought in deep by Igor Larionov, and roughing called against Kovalenko. So we have a 4-on-4 skating situation here with Team USA ahead 4-1 early in the third period. Ava Fetisov with it. Over on the right side now, it goes to Larionov. Larionov waiting, gives it up the middle. Zubov shooting, he scores! It is now USA 4, Russia 2.
Now normally the defensemen are so dangerous in a 4-on-4 situation, and that time both Russian defensemen got involved in this play. Zubov will end up scoring the goal, but in front of the net is Fetisov, his defensive partner, and Mike Richter thought he might have been interfered with. There's Fetisov right there with the U.S. defenseman in front, and Mike Richter did not see the shot. It was a hard wrist shot by Zubov, went through some people, and Richter never able to react because Fetisov, the defenseman, just cut directly in front of him. There was a little bit of a collision, and that threw him off, and Russia now back to within 2 goals.
Zubov with his first of the tournament. Larionov will get an assist at 1:57, and also Alexei Kovalov gets an assist on the goal. So now let's see how the U.S. responds. The last time Russia scored in the second period, Team USA came back 55 seconds later on a goal by Tony Amati to get that one back. Let's see what they do here. Still a 2-goal lead for Team USA at 4-2. 17.5 minutes to go here in the third period. We're going to get an icing call against Team USA.
Now Ron Wilson says that when his team gets ahead in the third period that he doesn't change his style and doesn't want them to go into a defensive shell. He wants them to stay aggressive. Now suddenly Russia has an opportunity. They look to have a little bit of jump back in their step. There's Ron Wilson, the U.S. coach. He says with this team and all the leadership and the veterans on this team, they know when to concentrate more on the defensive side of things as opposed to me telling them, as he was saying.
41 seconds left to go in the coincidental minor penalty. Still a 4-on-4 skating situation. Face off to the right of Mike Richter. Fedorov facing off against Smolinski. The puck comes to the left wing boards and held in there by Ulanov. Now to Fedorov. He tried to roll it in front. Tony Amati took it away for a moment. Couldn't clear. Russia holds it in. Here's Sergei Fedorov. Over to Ulanov. Igor Ulanov with a pass. Broken up and cleared by Tony Amati. 20 seconds left to go in the penalties. A minor to each team. Here's Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov on the right side, cut off by Darian Hatcher. Fedorov again in the slot. Hatcher with him. Held him up. He couldn't get the shot. Now Hatcher knocks him down. Hit him again from behind, and Tony Amati will clear. The fans here in Canada booing that there was no penalty called against Team USA. Mogilny back in to get it. Over to Ulanov. His pass up the center, taken away by Bill Guerin, but he got knocked down by Yushkevich as he came across the blue line. Loose puck at center ice, played by Team USA again. Billy Guerin on the right side. He drives it in deep to Keith Tkachuk. Tkachuk is checked by Yushkevich. Now over comes Mogilny. He drops it to Yushkevich. Mike Modano in there for Team USA. But Russia will be able to clear out the center ice. Gary Suter back to get it. He's back defensively with Chris Chelios. Chelios flipping it off the glass and out of play. 16:10 to go in the third. Team USA leads by 2.
I'm Jim McKay with an update from the 2020 Global Games. Graduated hurdles rose, but Great Britain fell. Nathan Rudder grabbed the ring and the gold for the U.S. Earlier today, Caswell Fowler executed the first perfect 10 multiple board dive.
The world of sports has evolved since all sport. Now with B vitamins, athletes need to unlock carbohydrate energy. It's more than a thirst quencher, it's a body quencher.
Coming up later, the record-breaking 300-meter dolphin relay.
I've seen my candidates win. I've seen them lose. I vote, I say my piece.
I listen to a lot of big mouths every day. You know what? My vote speaks louder.
I can't always speak my mind at work, right? But in the voting booth, I can say anything I want.
Listen, that's what my vote says. That's pretty satisfying.
On November 5th, vote for your candidate, vote for your country, but most of all, vote for yourself.
A reminder that the winner tonight will meet Team Canada in the finals of this tournament starting Tuesday. Game 1 at Philadelphia. Thursday, it shifts to Montreal for Game 2, and if necessary, Game 3. All games are live at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Check your local listings for the telecast in your area. Team Canada with a thrilling double overtime victory last night over Sweden at the Core State Center in Philadelphia.
There was a lot of people doubting Team Canada, especially in this country, and they put in a gutsy performance.
Now the loose puck in the Russian zone. Shot by Hull is wide to the right side. Might have been doubting them right till about 1957 of the second overtime, too.
Good point.
Here comes Nicolishin across the line, throws it on the right side, but back up the middle, it's broken up by Scott Young. Now Kevin Hatcher, he chased it down, it rolls free, and Doug Waite with it, but he gave it away. Just inside the blue line, his soft pass taken away by Larionov. He throws it in deep. Schneider gives it to Kevin Hatcher. His pass went behind Scott Young. 15:20 left to go here in the third period. Fetisov back to get it. USA leading Russia by 2 at 4-2. Puck comes in deep, chased down by Brian Leach. Leach to Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher's pass off the glass, rolls down into the Russian zone. Kasparaitis with Amati right behind him. Kasparaitis sends it up the middle, and Darian Hatcher will chase it down. We've played just over 5 minutes here in the third period. Russia has the only goal of the period, the goal by Zubov. Now the Russians hold it in again. Tverdovsky at the blue line, but his pass knocked away by John LeClaire. LeClaire at center ice. He sends it ahead, but it's overskated by Leach. Now at center ice, Berezin comes over to Kasparaitis. He throws it off the boards where Leach will play it there and get it over to Darian Hatcher of the Dallas Stars. Cleared it up to center ice. Taken away there by Kasparaitis. Over to Tverdovsky.
And Bob, Russia has come on in the last 3 or 4 minutes. They're controlling the puck much more and much better than earlier in the game.
Yashin shot deflected into the corner. Suter is there for Team USA. Alexei Yashin got knocked down. Kovalov was there, but the puck is whistled dead with 14:11 to go here in the third period. So let's see if the momentum is indeed shifting toward Team Russia.
Well, they're handling the puck, and they seem to be skating and more willing to make something happen in the last 3 or 4 minutes than we've seen at other stages of the game. At other parts of the game, they just at times it seemed like they all disappeared and were not doing anything. And now that they've got the goal to get to within 2, they seem to have a little bit more jump. They want to handle the puck. They seem to be going to the net a little bit more.
Now the puck driven off the boards on the right side, but held in by Sergei Nemchinov. Nemchinov, he fires it down in deep. Here's Fedorov up the middle, intercepted, and Pat LaFontaine clears it up the center. Here's Adam Deadmarsh to LaFontaine. LaFontaine had the first goal of the game 26 seconds after the opening faceoff. As the puck comes up the middle, here's Deadmarsh with it. He shoots. It's blocked on the way in. by Mamakov and played by Team Russia. 13:39 to go, third period. Driven down in deep by Sergei Nemchinov. Richter cut it off. Russia changing up on the fly. Puck comes up along the boards to the blue line to Billy Guerin. Guerin moves it up to center, and Team USA was changing and almost got caught with too many men. Here's a pass by Mogilny, tipped away into the corner. Nemchinov with it. Nemchinov for Russia, gives it to Larionov. Larionov back up the middle, knocked down there, and played by Bill Guerin. Gary Suter making a good defensive play right in the slot. Guerin tried to hold up and lost the puck, and back comes Russia. Nikolitin with it. Andrei Nikolitin makes a move across the line, gets by two U.S. players who collided. Nikolitin pass, he gave it away, and it's a 3-on-1 for Team USA. Tkachuk down the left side. Tkachuk with Modano. A shot and a save by Trepilov as Tkachuk got the shot. Actually, he would have rather have held onto the puck and gotten it over to Modano.
And that was a good defensive play by Sergei Zubov, the only defenseman back, and he took Tkachuk by surprise, I think, Bob, by going to him right away.
Yashin's pass wide to the right side as they tried to break. Kovalenko headed for the net. Puck comes up to center ice, and a long pass off the boards. Chased down in deep by Fetisov. 12:26 to go in the third. 4-2 Team USA. From center ice, Fetisov banks it around the boards over towards Sergei Berezin. Berezin overskated. It came back to the blue line and forced out by Scott Young out to center ice as Kovalov goes back to control it.
And as time
he gave it away to Hull. Looking for the hat trick. His shot blocked by Kasparaitis.
Pardon me, Bob. As time goes on, Russia will have to take more and more chances, and that could lead to more offensive chances for Team USA.
Hull was knocked down by Kasparaitis just moments ago, and here's a penalty to Brett Hull for tripping, and he knocks Kasparaitis down. Hull is going to get the penalty for tripping here, though, and I don't know if he'll get anything more with Kasparaitis out of this at center ice. We'll sort it out when we come back. We're back at the Corel Center. Players going into the penalty box with 11:50 left to go here in the third period, and Team USA leading 4-2. Team USA has two players in the penalty box. Kasparaitis is in for Russia. You see him there. Take a look at it again. There's a check by Kasparaitis on Hull. Now Hull's going to come back and get a penalty right here along the boards.
Yeah, with his stick, he ends up taking down the Russian player, and then that's Kasparaitis again. We've talked about his aggressiveness, and he comes after Hull. Hull gets a stick up on him as well, but Team USA will have the extra minor, and that puts Russia on the power play.
So the two of the penalties cancel each other out. Brett Hull is serving, the only one that's going to put his team short-handed. He's got 1:49 to serve on that, and Team Russia with a goal here on the power play will be right back in the game.
A huge opportunity for Team Russia, a huge penalty killing situation for Team USA.
Malakhov in deep, pass over on the right side, and just tipped away there from Zelepukin. Held in by Team Russia at the blue line. Pass on the right side to Zelepukin. He tried to get it to Tverdovsky, tipped away and batted to the blue line, but a nice play there to hold it in by Nemchinov. Boy, I'll tell you, no place for the faint of heart out there now. There are bodies flying all over the place.
They're running at each other. In fact, the hits after two periods were fairly even. 20 for Team USA, 17 for the Russians.
1:10 to go on the power play for Russia. Pass up the center, taken away, and Scott Young drives it hard all the way down deep into the Russian zone. Brett Hull got a tripping penalty and a high sticking penalty. Kasparaitis got a high sticking penalty. Puck comes off on the right side and driven down in deep where Chelios over to get it. He's double teamed in the corner. Comes to Tverdovsky for Russia. Pass in front, tried to get it to Kovalenko. Went behind him. Kovalenko with it with 40 seconds left to go in the power play. Puck taken behind the net. Team Russia with it, down by 2 goals. Now along the boards left side, tipped away toward the blue line and held in by Zubov to Larionov. Larionov checked by LaFontaine. Back to Zubov. Zubov doesn't get the shot. Now his pass right side went off the skate of Nikolitin. Nikolitin gets it to Tverdovsky. He's checked by Young. Pass comes back up to Zubov. 18 seconds to go in the power play. Larionov left side. Larionov in the Team USA zone in front of Kovalenko. Fan rebound saved by Richter. On Kovalenko's rebound. Rebound again by Kovalenko. Tipped wide. Puck comes to Nikolitin. To Tverdovsky. To Zubov. 2 seconds to go in the power play. Larionov to Kovalenko. Tipped away out of the penalty box is Keith Tkachuk. A lead pass to him on a breakaway. He shoots, saved by Trefilov. And play continues.
Are we seeing some goaltending? Mike Richter with a couple of big saves for Team USA, and now Trefilov keeps his team in it.
9:30 to go in the third as the puck comes up to center ice. Both teams at full strength. Billy Guerin down the middle. Shoots, saved by Trefilov, and he hangs on. And the chippiness continues, but boy, what excitement here at both ends of the ice.
And the USA penalty killers were tired at the end. They were trying to do everything they could to help out. Mike Richter with some fine saves. Scott Young helped out on Kovalenko as well. Here's one chance here. Kovalenko almost fans on it, but then gets his own rebound, gets the backhand. There's Richter to make the save. Now watch Young right here. Stay with Kovalenko. He helped out. If he wasn't on the back of Kovalenko, he could have put it into the empty side. And here's Tkachuk coming out of the penalty box. This is a chance to sew it up for Team USA. And he tries to beat Trefilov low to the stick side, and Trefilov comes up with the save.
18,500 sellout here tonight at the Corral Center, and what a treat they're seeing. Long shot by Hatcher. Kevin Hatcher is deflected up over the net. 4-2 in favor of Team USA. 9:11 to go here in the third period. Russia with it back in their own zone. Now starting up to center, Alexei Kovalov. Kovalov fires it hard. Comes around the boards out toward the left point. Held in there for a moment, but now rolls away to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher will skate it up to center ice, and he backhands it across the line all the way down into the Russian zone. Big Kevin Hatcher, 6'4", 225, traded by Dallas to Pittsburgh for Sergei Zubov this past June. USA's Hatcher can't hang on there. Kovalev took it away, but he gave it away to Smolinski on the right side. His pass comes up to center ice, tried to hit Tony Amonte. Smolinski is double teamed and offside called against Team USA. 8:29 to go in the third. US by 2.
I'm Jim.
We're back here at the Corral Center. Ron Wilson looking on, hoping the momentum that we talked about earlier, Joe, is shifting back in the U.S. favor. But right now it's pretty even right between these two teams as far as who's got a little bit of an edge.
And Russia has picked up their intensity.
Here is Fedorov in deep with Brian Smolinski right behind him. Now it comes along the boards and not clear. Team USA having a tough time clearing the puck at times. And it's held in by Kasparidis. And a pass in, or a shot actually by Nemchinov. And a scramble in front of Richter, and the puck came loose. And here's a guy who wishes he was in goal tonight, Brian Hayward.
Thanks, Bob. I tell you what, there's a lot of talk about the Russians not in the lineup because of injuries. The most notable names, of course, Pavel Bure and Alexei Zhamnov. Certainly they could use them at this stage in the hockey game when they're down by a couple of goals. But let's not forget about Vladimir Konstantinov. He would have been a major force in a very physical hockey game like this one tonight. No question the Russians really miss him as well.
Excellent point by Brian. Konstantinov probably, I don't think there's any question, he's the top Russian defenseman in the world, and it's unfortunate that he's out with the injury.
Got hurt playing tennis.
Got hurt playing tennis. That's
How
right.
does a hockey player get hurt playing tennis?
With Sergei Fedorov. Especially him. You can't hurt the guy the way he plays. He plays as tough and as hard as anybody in the league. A little dirty at times, a lot of players would tell you, but he just, with all the heart he plays with, he would be a huge help to this Russian team.
The referee, Terry Gregson, just went over to the Team Russia bench, and what he was talking to them about, we're not sure, but he did go over. Let's take a look at that last save by Richter.
There's Mike Richter, and on the side there is Alexander Mogilny. And look at the U.S. defensemen and all the people coming back to help out. There was a tackle there at the end as well. That's probably what they're arguing about.
8:07 left to go in the third period. Bob Miller along with Joe Micheletti and Brian Hayward here in Ottawa, Ontario. Puck is kicked free for a moment, and now Adam Deadmarsh will clear back down into the Russian zone.
And for those, Bob, who hadn't heard about Konstantinov, it was a torn Achilles tendon.
Shot from the right side is kicked out by Trefilov. Joel Otto over there, and Otto picks it up and drives it back into the corner. Deadmarsh, he lines up Tverdovsky and threw a check there, and the puck is cleared high in the air out to center ice.
Now Chelios fires it right back into the Russian zone. Team USA will change up on the fly. 7:30 left to go here in the third period. Darian Hatcher, he chips it back into the Russian zone. This is our last game of the tournament that we will be announcing. I want to thank our crew, Bob Borgen, Lisa Seltzer, Don DiAgostino. What great job they have done with very little sleep.
Yes,
to say the least.
They've worked very hard and done a good job. And Mike Emmerich and John Davidson will have a lot of fun in the next few days as this winds down.
Up the middle and right in front. It was tipped away. RS Video also providing our feed in Ottawa and Montreal. And Jim Halpin, our helper up here in the booth, and Steve Adler, our statistician. Crew that's done a great job. It's been a pleasure working with everyone in the 4 games that we've had a chance to do in this World Cup of Hockey. But there'll be a lot more coming your way when the finals start on Tuesday, and it'll be Team Canada against the winner of this game tonight. Right now, Team USA ahead 4-2.
And what a matchup that looks like it will be. 2 teams that play the same style. They're physical, and obviously both teams very talented.
Puck taken back by the Russians to their own blue line and played over to Sergei Zubov. On the right side of Fetisov, he gives it to Berezin. Berezin in the slot and just over-skated, reached out to try and get it and couldn't find the handle on it. Team USA to center, working on a 2-on-1. Leclerc, and down the right side, Schneider. Schneider shoots, he scores! Matthew Schneider puts Team USA ahead 5-2. A 2-on-1 break. He had the big goal scorer Leclerc off to his left, but Matthew Schneider, the defenseman from New York City, puts Team USA ahead 5-2.
Yeah, and it started with a turnover in Team USA's zone, with Russia getting aggressive, needing to get the extra goal. Sergei Zubov gets caught. Now what's going to happen is that the defenseman decides to take the shooter, and we talked about Trefilov going down sometimes too early or before the shooter takes a shot. Here it is. You can see the Russian defenseman. He's going to take away the pass. So Schneider recognizes that perfectly, and he just takes the perfect shot. Trefilov going down is just off the far post, and in. A great play by Matthew Schneider.
Schneider with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's had 7 years experience in the NHL. Puck comes back along the boards, and a big goal there, Joe. We've talked so much about was the momentum changing. Pressure starting to be applied by Russia, and a big goal that gives the USA now that 3-goal cushion here late in the third.
Yeah, and Team USA started playing a little bit more conservative. They weren't getting caught. They had 4 players back in the neutral zone, and that was slowing the play down and slowing these Russians down, and they just bided their time. They waited for the turnover. It came, and they finished it off, and now have a 3-goal lead.
Chelios chipped it out. Team Russia with it back at their line. Here's Sergei Fedorov, pushed from behind by Waite. Waite trying to get it to Adam Deadmarsh. He and Fedorov met at the blue line. Deadmarsh rolled it up the middle, poked away, and Joel Otto just about got to it. Trefilov just kind of left it there and apparently thought he had a defenseman close, and then he thought, I better tip it away, and he just got to it before Joel Otto skated by in front. 5 minutes left to go here in the third period. Team USA with a 5-2 lead. Along the boards in the Team USA zone, Nicolishin's pass taken away, and it'll be brought up to center ice. Team USA with the lead, and they're looking to go 4 wins, no losses, no ties in this tournament. Alakov from outside the blue line with a shot wide to the left.
You know, Ron Wilson, the U.S. coach, he wanted to take Russia out of what he called their 3-quarter offense, or 3-quarter speed, the way they do everything and control the play. He said, if we're going to lose to them, they're going to have to do everything at 100%. Quick, fast, and they're going to have to beat us, and they haven't done it in this game.
Matthew Schneider out again, but Nicolishin took it away. He got it back to Malakov of the blue line, tipped away from him and out to center ice, and Fetisov covers up. We're coming down to 4 minutes left to go here in the third period. Team USA with a 5-2 lead. This is the same score by which they beat Russia in Madison Square Garden last Monday night. Goals tonight for Team USA. LaFontaine with his second. Hull got his third on the power play and his 4th shorthanded. Tony Amati added 1, and Matthew Schneider. Pass over now to Modano, and his shot deflected back behind the net. Here's Mike Modano again. Leading scorer with the Dallas Stars. Got it out to the blue line where Chelios couldn't hold it in. But play will continue as Kasparaitis back in to get it.
And now Team USA just doing the right thing, using the clock. If there's not a play, they're just dumping it in to Russia's end. They're forcing them to go back and pick up the puck and come all the way down the ice. That's taking minutes and seconds off the clock.
Schneider's goal, his second of the tournament, was unassisted at 13:57. And now it's chased down by Brian Smolinski against Kasparaitis. Smolinski dropped it back in front and just was tipped away from John LeClair. Up to center ice. Tverdovsky moves it ahead and across the line. Russia with it. Kovalev spins, shoots, and a save by Richter. And he covered it up. Had time to move it, but he wasn't sure where the Russian players were and made the safe play. We'll be back in a moment.
Budweiser.
Alright, we're jamming. I wanna jam it with you. We're jamming, and I hope you like jamming too.
If I give you a clean sheet, what will you write? Will it be poetry or just plain English? If you have something to say, say it now, for soon my sheet will be filled, and this chapter will end, sure as the next will begin, with a clean sheet, new authors, and a million possibilities.
Ottawa tonight, as we're only 2:56 away from Team USA going to the finals against Canada. That's going to be quite a matchup.
It's going to be a great matchup. So many times you can look at the goaltending and say, great goaltending will win for you, and that's normally the case. In this matchup, Team USA with Mike Richter, Team Canada with Curtis Joseph, boy, it's almost a toss-up.
Puck is flipped off the boards near the blue line, and now into Brett Hull. Hull with 2 goals in the game tonight. He throws it down in deep to try and control it, but he can't. Mogilny gets it out to Yushkevich, and a shot knocked down in front. Puck comes over to Ulanov, and his shot is saved in the pads of Richter. 2:27 to go here in the third period. Team USA 5, Russia 2. Only goal by Team USA in this third period, and a big one on a 2-on-1 break by Matthew Schneider that gave the U.S. a little breathing room, or a lot of breathing room, really.
They got a scare in the third period when Russia came back to make it 4-2. They put a little pressure on.
Here's Pat LaFontaine in deep, and he shoveled it, looked like with his gloved hand toward the net. Now a hard check by Joel Otto down in the corner. Here's a penalty coming up, and Otto falls down on top of the Russian player. He threw a hard check from behind, and then they turned around and went down to the ice, but a penalty indication was given by the referee, Terry Gregson.
And no question that Joel Otto was going to get the initial penalty for hitting from behind.
I think it's Ulanov that he hit.
Oh, Ulanov got into the game too in the third. He was running around, probably their most physical defenseman, along with Kasparaitis. And this third period was the Russian players in particular. Here it is again. Boy, he took a high stick and then a little spear behind the leg from Ulanov. That's why he went after him. And then he looked at this opportunity and said, here's my chance to go back after him. And then Ulanov jumped on his back, and Joel Otto able to throw his gloves down, use the right hand, and do a little damage.
Yeah, Ulanov had that coming.
But you could, that's right. You could see the high stick that Otto took first, and then the little poke behind the legs. And then Otto took the opportunity to go back after him.
The only difference is Ulanov got away with what he did at first.
That's right. Referee Terry Gregson missed it. As I was saying earlier, Bob, the first 2 periods, the Russians didn't show that much as far as intensity, as far as the willingness to go to the net and pay the price to get back into this game. When they finally scored to make it 4-2, they started showing more of that. They started getting more aggressive. They were going to the net. They were looking to, all of a sudden they looked like they wanted to win this game. They didn't show much of that in the first 2 periods.
Russia will fall to 2 wins and 3 losses in the tournament. And really, Joe, I don't think they've shown that very much in the entire tournament, really, once the North America pool started. Jacques Martin on the right looking on, the coach of the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah, you make a good point. We talked about that a little bit earlier, man. There's been some rumblings in this Russian camp since this tournament started, and there's always been some questioning as to the spirit of this Russian team, and were they willing to take it to another level. And we talked last time, they played possum in the past in these international tournaments, trying to lure other teams to sleep, and then they'd come on and play their best hockey when it really counted. Well, they played pretty well against a Finnish team that did not give them much opposition, but tonight I think you would have to say that they're disappointed in the rest.
The shot is stopped by Richter, the shot by Malakhov. The penalty was to Joel Otto. Urlanov, he also got a penalty, but the only one on the board is the one to Joel Otto. So we'll bring you up to date on those in a moment. Otto got charging and roughing. Urlanov got roughing. So Russia with a power play for another minute 20. And there were some people who felt that even tonight the Russians were still playing possum, but Team USA came out and scored early. Russia on the power play 0 for 7 so far tonight, and this one is knocked down to the blue line, and back on the right side, Doug Waite cutting in, looking for a short-hander. In front, he shoots, it's knocked away. He gets it again and tries to get it to Brett Hull. Less than a minute to go, and it's going to be USA against Canada in a best 2 out of 3 finals for the World Cup of Hockey, starting in Philadelphia Tuesday night, and then moving to Montreal on Thursday, and if necessary, Saturday in Montreal. It'll be Canada against the United States.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, for sure. We should see some outstanding hockey. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Puck is picked up and cleared out to center ice by Smolinski. 23 seconds left to go in this one. For the second straight game, the United States scored 26 seconds after the opening faceoff. LaFontaine did it tonight. And they led all the way in going to this victory over Russia. Team USA, second win in a week over Russia. 2 seconds to go. That will do it. It is all over. And Team USA wins it 5-2 to move into the finals, and Ron Wilson, he's got the Russians' number, that's for sure.
Well, he's got a lot of teams' number the way his team is playing. Ron Wilson now shaking hands with the rest of his coaches there. The Russians giving their goaltender Trefilov a little pat on the head, but they weren't the team that could match up to Team USA in this game. Mike Richter made the big saves when he had to keep his team in the lead. Brett Hull, boy, what a game for Brett Hull. 2 goals, 1 power play goal, the other one shorthanded. Trefilov played pretty well in goal for Team Russia. After the U.S. team took the early lead, he came up with some big saves. In fact, 33 of them in this game.
Well, he faced 33 shots in the game. Russia had 25 shots, and there's a good look at Brett Hull of the St. Louis Blues as they're announcing the player of the game. And we'll take a look at the Bud Ice player of the game in this battle between Team USA and Russia. Team USA wins it 5-2. For Team USA, it's Brett Hull and Mike Richter, the players of the game.
And certainly they deserve those honors. And there were a lot of other players on this team that played very strong. We talked about their core of defensemen at the start of the game. They were very solid tonight. Chris Chelios played a strong game. Brian Leach was excellent. Darian Hatcher saved a goal. So they all contributed. They played very tough in front of their goaltender, Mike Richter. And there's Brett Hull being named the player of the game and not getting a very warm welcome from this Ottawa crowd. But in either case, Team USA beats Team Russia 5-2.